kinsmanradio.com and begin your transformation today.
Edmonton, Winnipeg, Public Unreserved Industrial Auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m.
This Friday, 6 p.m. till midnight, don't miss the 71st Annual Kinsman Radio Auction. The Kinsman Club of Camrose invites you to join the fun and support their largest fundraiser of the year. Bid on a huge selection of items donated by generous local businesses. All proceeds will help the Kinsmen serve our community's greatest needs. The Kinsman Radio Auction. For details, find them on Facebook. You can also join the bidding in person this Friday night at the Bailey Theatre on Main Street, Camrose. Details on Facebook.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Jason Gregor Show.
There's a cut to the net. From the crease, put it home. I think Sassone might have tipped it initially. And Kiefer Sherwood, with his 13th of the year, makes it 4-3 Canucks.
On Sports 1440.
Thompson with time. Pulls the 3 on line. A star with the jumper.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Going back behind the cage. Ditching it for Eichel, and up top is Marner. Eichel, the hurdle shot blocked. Someone trying to sit right. Someone in it.
What a terrific Thursday after are you, and welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. The show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where Lotto Max tomorrow, $60 million. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Also, it's the Daily Grand today. $1,000 a day for life. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca, where you can also see the Jason Gregor Show special. So check it out there. I like it. Good luck on that for sure. So we have lots to get to today. If you're a Thanksgiving Day fan, you got football. Man, the Packers line's been pretty entertaining football game. No question about it. Now, if you have Amon St. Brown, you're not happy because he had an injury on, was it the second play? And we'll see. But they are, he's out. Ends up with 0 points if you're a fantasy football player. So not ideal at all. So you look at the game today. And Connor, what do you make of like Dan Campbell's decision-making on some of the gambling plays?
I mean, it's one of those things where I think he deserves to be criticized for it. You know, if we're going to praise him when he gets it right, I think you equally have to deserve the blame when you get it wrong. And we've seen that cost him games in certain situations. I think he learned from it, going back to a couple of weeks ago where it was just like over 5 and then punting the ball away, essentially giving the Philadelphia Eagles the victory in that game. Like that game could have been a lot more competitive with better ball management, punting it away, trusting your defense because the Eagles weren't exactly running away with it. I think he's learned from those types of things, though. So interesting to see how this one closes out here against the Green Bay Packers. They just kick a field goal. Bates hits it. makes it a 7-point game here. But I did not see this one coming. Good on the Green Bay Packers for being competitive in this game. They've had some receivers make some great plays. Kristen Watson had the big touchdown. Wicks had a really nice play to get the scoring going, had a second touchdown there. So they're keeping it competitive. And, Micah Parsons making his presence felt, big sack in key situations. The pass rush has been there in the face of Jared Goff. And like you said, the Amon St. Brown injury, that certainly hurts because without him, you're also down Sam Laporta. Now you're kind of counting on Jameson Williams, who to me, a very good player, but a splash player, kind of relies on making that big play. You double cover him, and who else is going to beat you? I think Tesla had the touchdown there, but it's definitely a tough one for this Lions offense to overcome. But they're still right there in it. Just need to stop.
Yeah, well, they've really limited they being the Packers defense. Jamar Gibbs today, for sure. He hasn't. He wasn't going to do what he did last week, obviously not, but hasn't been as dominant today. On the program, Landon Farrar is going to join us. David Owens from Thursday. We got Terry Ryan. Shane Peng will join us from San Jose to talk about the Sharks. We got 2 Minute Warning with Tater. Andy McNamara will talk some NFL football. We got Jeff Patterson joining us from Vancouver as the Canucks. Everybody's on the market. What would they be looking for? Because if I look at the Canucks players, and Kiefer Sherwood is definitely someone that would intrigue me for the M2. Now, I'm not overpaying for him because he's on. He had a great start goal scoring wise that I don't think is likely something that he's going to do all year long. But he's physical consistently. That's not going to change. And even if he only scores 15 goals the rest of the way, that puts him as a guy who'd be an 18, 19 goal scorer over the season. Now I know that'd be a 27, but he's not a 12 goals in 20 game guy regularity is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see where that goes for sure. But looking at a few other things, the Oilers, we're going to hear from Zach Hyman, Matthias Ekholm, Stuart Skinner today as the Oilers had a practice. Really, their first practice in weeks. They got another practice tomorrow. Matthias Ekholm said that's more practice we'll have in this week than we've had in a month. And practice can help players. There's no question it can help them. And they feel they try to get back to basics. So we're going to get to Matthias Ekholm pretty much right off the hop here in a second, talking about just what they worked on and why he feels it can help them because they got a lot of problems. I'm going to give you some numbers. Now, hopefully you are sitting down because you know what? And we'll get into some trade talk, goaltending. We had lots of it yesterday. We'll talk about it some more today. Who you look at. I understand like two things can happen. You can say, yeah, you got to change the goalie. There's lots of reasons that I think people can have a valid defense of why you'd want to make a goalie change. I understand it. However, it's not just the goalie. Because if you change the goalie, but nothing else in front of him changes, the team's still going to stink. That's just a fact. Here are some numbers to illustrate just how bad it has been for the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm going to give you where they ranked last year in all of these defensive categories and now where they're ranking this year. Okay, now these are expected goals. Okay, expected goals against. So last year, the Oilers were 10th in breakaways. This year, they're 23rd. Last year, they were 11th on broken plays. This year, they're 28th. Last year, they were 3rd on deflections. This year, they're 29th. Okay? The higher, the worse you are. Okay? Last year, they were 8th in one-timer chances. This year, they're 32nd. Last year, they were 6th in rebounds. This year, they're 15th. Last year, 6th in screens. This year, they're 28th. Last year, 6th in slot line chances. This year, they're 19th. And then clear sight shot, which were the easiest to save. Last year, they were 16th. This year, they're the 19th. That's the only one they're close on. The rest, it has been an absolute tire fire for them. Absolute tire fire. Dead last in one-timer chances off of expected goals. Brutal. 29th in deflections. 28th in broken plays. 28th in screens. Like, protect the front of the net. They're getting murdered in front of their net. You got to be harder on players. That is just a will and a determination. Nothing more. That's what it is. Will and determination, and they've got to be better. That's just simple. They need to be better in front of their own net. Start there. Now, other areas they can be better, managing the puck. Right? There has been times where they will have the puck. There's no one around them, and they're just missing it. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. So we'll talk to them about how they can, because let's be honest, they're in a deep, well, they're not even in that deep of a hole when you look at the standings. And that's their saving grace. Like, look at last night in the National Hockey League. The Edmonton Oilers, they got a lot of help. You look at the teams that were playing that lost. Flames. Now, the Flames, they're not really that close. But Vegas lost. Ducks lost. Kraken lost. So all the teams that they're trying to stay pace with ahead of them in the Pacific Division, they all lost last night. And that's, trust me, because Edmonton's played, they've got games in hand. And so, or the other teams have games in hand, excuse me. So, you know what? Those teams lose those games in hand. That's a benefit. Like, Edmonton is currently 4 points out of first place in the Pacific Division. Now, Anaheim does have 2 games in hand. But, you know, they've taken on Seattle, who is 3 points ahead of them on Saturday. And the Oilers have had a fair amount of success against Seattle historically. They don't generate a ton of quality chances. So they're probably the perfect team for Edmonton to play to try to gain some defensive confidence and be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're not suddenly going to snap our fingers and be great defensively. It's going to be a process. Part of that process is gaining some confidence and, oh, look, we're doing the right things. We had some success today. And Seattle is probably one of the best teams because they don't have a lot of high-end talent and they don't create a ton of high-end danger chances. They just don't. Like, they're in, if you look at Seattle, they don't score a ton. Right? They're not a team that you have to be, you have to respect any team. I understand it, but you don't have to be leery of Seattle as an offensive threat. Right? They're 29th in the NHL in offense. They don't give up a ton. They don't score a ton. So they're winning from their defensive game, not their offensive game. So Edmonton goes into Seattle. Would I be thinking a low-scoring game? Very possible. Very possible in Seattle. And then you have another practice afterwards, so maybe you can keep building on some things. So let's hear from Matthias Ekholm. Let's get to the oral report brought to you by Go Auto. Over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. The vehicle you want, they have it. GoAuto.ca. And Matthias Ekholm, just talking about, just trying to get back to basics here with practice time and how it can help them.
I think we worked on some of them today. I think it starts with breakouts. I think it starts with communication. And honestly, a lot of mental stuff too, just trying to remove that plastic film that seems to be around everyone's head right now, where it's almost you're not thinking as quick, you're not moving as quick, you're not reacting as quick. So I think there's a lot that goes into it, but I also think that there's a little bit of a thing where we find one thing, it's going to trickle into all of the areas. And I think that this group has been through this before. We know we're in it, and we just got to battle our way out of it. So I think we worked on some of those things today, and hopefully we get a good day again tomorrow to have a practice. Because if you look at the last 2 months, like, we haven't practiced. I think we have as many practices this week as we've had the last 7 weeks. So not an excuse, but for sure nice to be able to work on some stuff.
A lot of times if there's an outing they don't like, there's like, oh, good, we can play right away. Maybe it's better sometimes to finally have some downtime. Only one game in 6 days, as you mentioned. You'll have 3 practices when you look at these 2 and then the one afterwards. That you can just, I don't sound, some people think, well, why do the pros need to practice? You still have to sharpen up your skills on it.
Your game's always a work in progress. I think you can ask Colorado. I don't think they think they're perfect. They're doing really good, but they're not perfect. And no team is. So practice is going to help that for sure. I think that we've had, especially on the road trip, it was nice to have we had some bad games, and you're playing the next night anyway. So that's sometimes that's nice, but I think now that it's been a little bit of time where we haven't loved our game, I think it's great to get some practice time in and to actually have conversations too and talk about stuff that different guys are seeing in different positions, whether it's our goalies, our D, or our forwards, because everybody's got a different opinion or a different view of things, why they haven't been working for us.
looking, well, hey, there's lots of things that haven't been working for him, for sure. When you look at the situation defensively for the Oilers right now, there's lots of areas, as I outlined, lots of areas that are a problem. When I see a team making as many mental mistakes as they are they fatigued? Yeah, maybe mentally. But again, that's pro sports, man. Like, you're not the only team that's been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals here. Tampa went to 3 in a row. Florida went to 3 in a row. That's just part of being a pro. It's a little hard sometimes. Kansas City Chiefs, how many championships they go to year after year? They're not way more tired than other teams. Now it's a longer offseason, so I will admit that. But the human element is real, but at some point it becomes an excuse. You can say, hey, these are the challenges we have. How do we overcome them? You can't let the challenge overcome you. And so far, that to me seems to be the issue here. So when I look at the Oilers moving forward, it's probably going to be baby steps. I don't think this is going to be a one game. We have a good defensive game and then boom, they're off and running. Maybe, but it's probably going to have to be a progression, and it'll need to be one where they are slowly making their way to being respectable, not even dominant, just respectable. They're in like bottom 5 in a lot of defensive categories. And that's not just goaltending. Goaltending is a separate issue. Goaltenders need to be better, no question. But the team defense has been equally as bad as the goaltending. Equally as bad. And that's not good. So, quick break. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You know your neighbor, right? The one who watches your house when you're away, who keeps their yard looking nice, who says hello every day. That's us. GS Construction. Now, we probably don't live right beside you, but we do live in your community. And when it comes to water and wastewater infrastructure, moving along smoothly, we're the ones doing that work. GS Construction has been doing it since 1974, over 50 years. So you could say we are your neighbors who wear hard hats and work boots. To find out what your neighbors do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Every lunchtime, hang with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. Low Tide and Declan Kruger gives you the deep dives, sharp analysis, and Edmonton sports talk done right. Your game, your station, Sports 1440.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Snow, colder weather, shorter days. November is officially here. But it doesn't all have to be bad news. If you're thinking about a new or used vehicle, now is the time. Massive savings, 0% financing, and don't forget tires at cost. Yes, that's right. We sell winter tires at cost. There's lots to celebrate in November. And as always, we'd like to thank all of those who have fought and served for our country. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirit, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.221, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday. If you're an NFL fan, you're liking it. The Lions and the Packers with a spirited tilt coming right down. Is that over yet, Cons?
It is, yeah. Green Bay converted a 4th down to seal the victory.
So it's over. 31-24. They are victorious. Did they have pictures of anybody eating turkey legs yet?
Not yet, but you know it's coming.
You know it's coming.
Jordan Love, Wicks, and I'm going to say Parsons.
Parsons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is that the Sunday night or the Thursday night game they do that?
It might be the late game. I'm not sure when they do it. I know that they... I thought, well, the Sunday night game has only been around for a few years, so I would have to. I recall it happening before then, but
I don't think I would take it.
You wouldn't eat it?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably been sitting out for a little bit. You would think
it's cooked. Are you one of those people?
Well,
you're worried about like the cavemen barely cooked food and survived. And now you're like, you know what? This cooked chicken's been sitting out here for a few hours. I don't think I'm going to eat it.
Well, they didn't live that long.
Well, I don't think it was the food that killed them.
Touche.
Weather conditions, the
dinosaurs.
Some of the actual animals that killed them. So yes, although I don't really think it was the dinosaurs. Cons well,
they might have made a couple.
Little different eras, maybe.
Were they different eras?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
so that's not what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
We're reading the different history books, I guess.
Yeah. So let's talk a little hockey. Get around. We'll go in the room now. Brought to you by Action Electrical. They got commercial service division. They got residential solar. Also a commercial solar, electrical preventive maintenance on commercial buildings, EV chargers, and more. They got it all. ActionElectrical.net. as Landon Ferraro joins us, former NHLer, pre- and post-game analyst here on Sports 1440. And Landon, the Edmonton Oilers, after the Colorado game, after the Dallas game, it's pretty much the same game. They got waxed both games. You know, I went through every goal in that game, and I'm not sure I found one where it was this, where I looked and said, "Oh, it was a system. This is the problem. They're defending this way all the time, and the team's exposing them." No, they lost battles behind the net that has nothing to do with system. They gave up pucks when it's right on their stick. At times, they had some errant passes in the offensive zone that led to chances the other way. Like the Oilers' puck management, I'm going to start there. To me, that might be their biggest concern right now.
It really is. I mean, it's one thing if you're turning pucks over, but you are steady defensively behind it. You can cover up some of those, but they're turning things over. There's no one backing anyone up. You know, like you said, I think the biggest issue is the softness on the puck. Like right from the first goal against, it gets chipped in. Bouchard just kind of gets pushed off the puck. They bring it right around. They pass it across the crease. No one's boxing out. No one gets under a stick. Like it's easy offense, and the amount of easy offense goals they've given up, especially last game, like you're not giving yourself a chance, let alone, you know, like try and be in control of the game and dictate the way it's going to play. Like you're not even giving yourself a chance to be in the game when you're playing like that.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no. It is. It's kind of wild just how bad they've been at times. Like the puck management's one in front of the net.
Yeah.
It's wild to me how lacking in competitiveness they are in front of their own goal.
It's honestly, it is mind-blowing a bit. And like, it's not that you have to be in front of the net and you're cross-checking all over the place. Like, it's just getting underneath guys' hands. That's all it is. Getting body position and getting your stick underneath theirs and making sure that any rebound that is going to pop out, because whether Skinner plays the type of game he did the other night or he plays the best that he possibly can, there's going to be rebounds. And you have to be able to help your goaltender out and clear those out and not give them those easy whack-ins. Like the one where, and again, they're kind of blending together at this point, but the one where it comes around and ends up popping to the slot and they throw it in the far side. Like there needs to be some urgency in front of your own net to help clear out, like protect the house first. So like face or hash marks down to the goal line and you make that kind of box around the net. Like that needs to be taken care of first. There's more than enough offense in this Oiler team that they shouldn't have to worry about offense. It's worry about the defensive side and then play out of that, and you'll get enough chances to score and get enough chances to win games.
Landon Ferraro joins us. So they got to start. Matthias Ekholm talked about, you know what, just with simple things like breakouts, because they do miss a lot of passes on their breakouts right now. And it was kind of like going back to basics for them today. You have practice today, practice tomorrow. It's kind of the first time in over a month where they've had practices, even they'll have another practice after the Seattle game before they start their 5-game homestand. And can you quantify how important it is, even for the best players in the world, to have practice?
It's huge. It tightens everything back up again, where you can do video, you can have conversations, but it's so much easier to grasp what is being taught or what's being told or a correction to your game. That, you know, like when you go through a long run of just playing games, whether it's going well or tough for you, like you personally, there's things that creep into your game that push it one way or another, and you don't really know what they are because you don't have time to think it through and figure out what that may be. So getting back to practice, you've had a conversation, well, now you're out there and you can see it firsthand for working on our breakouts. And for the Oilers, to me, a lot of the issue comes from there's no close support ever. Like the puck gets moved up the wall and it's like everyone disperses away and that guy's left on an island to try and figure out the next play. And it's generally out of almost a position of panic. and it's really tough to make plays out of that. So you're out there, you can blow it down right away. Everyone stops where you're at. All of a sudden now the coach can quickly, we need someone here, we need someone here. You see it firsthand, and it burns into your head a little bit more.
Lennon Ferraro joins us. Lennon, the Oilers, man, if they didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck. Roslovic blocks a shot. Now, he did come back and play, but didn't skate today, and he's questionable for Saturday. Janmark was out. Kasperi Kapanen comes back. He's been flying around in practice. The final drill of practice today, he gets tangled up with one of his teammates, goes down. He was recovering from a knee injury. My understanding was it was like an MCL kind of sprain and maybe slight tear. And he was not, he went down. He was in discomfort. He was very frustrated, slammed all the sticks. And it just seems like right now, like just when you think they're going to get someone back, because I actually think they miss Kapanen. I liked a lot of what he brought in the playoffs, and then even before he got hurt this year. And you throw in Roslovic, then there's a quiet injury that could really derail them because he's been one of their best scorers.
He's been their most consistent scorer, and what his playmaking and he's he's probably the only guy other than McDavid and Draisaitl up front that can take a play out of nothing and really make a play happen by himself with a good move or a burst of speed and gets himself into a lane to shoot and take advantage of that way. That's tough. And, I'm with you. I'm not, when Kapanen is on his game, and because his biggest issue in his career has been the consistency. He's a really, really good player for a handful of games, and then he kind of disappears. But if he can come back into the lineup and have that speed and the intensity that he plays with, that energy that really kind of rubs off on other guys as well, because he is like kind of a little bowling ball running around out there. And if he can come back in and bring some of that, I mean, that's going to be a big help for the team. But you can't take away the fact that you're losing, a guy that's got a good number of goals this year so far. And that's even taking out the first few games when he was just trying to get up to speed again. Like he's been really good for the Oilers, Roslovic has. So, hopefully that's just, there's no reason to jam his foot back into a skate for today's, and he's okay to get moving still.
The Oilers are as bad as they've played because of overtime losses and other teams just kind of being okay as well. Like Vegas has won 10 of 23 games. Seattle's won 11 of 23 games. LA's won 11 of 23 games. Like there's not a lot of teams playing great. And so the Oilers, while they're not close to playing as good as they'd like, they're still only 2 points out of the playoffs. Like it's kind of not that they would look and say, oh, this is good, but it kind of got lucky in a sense that not many other teams are playing great. So if the Oilers ever find their game, they should be able to climb the standings fairly quickly.
Yeah, the Oilers are one of the teams that's definitely benefiting from some teams not playing great and more teams from the bottom of the league last year that you knew were going to take steps, but took massive steps this year and are playing way better than other teams in the league would have expected. Like in Anaheim, I watched them against the Canucks the other night. They're a fun team to watch and a lot of skill, and they've taken a really good jump this year. So it's kept the league really tight. I think it's not that it's panic time in Edmonton, but at the same time, like it is a call for action in the sense of we need to figure this out now. Like this, we have been fortunate that we're sitting in the spot that we're in right now, and we have not played good. Like if we can figure it out just that first step or two, we're already in a way better position, and we're going to start moving the right direction. We can get some good momentum underneath us. But, before any of that can happen, like they need to figure out the defensive zone. Knobloch talked about, you can't just keep pointing at what's not working. At some point, you're going to have to choose to make a change somewhere, system-wise, or how you're going about it. Like they're going to have to figure that out before they can take any other step.
When you look at the Oilers goaltending situation, they obviously got to be better. I wrote the article today, and like the Oilers in their defensive zone and their expected goals, where they ranked last year to this year, like it's not even close, right? From breakaways, broken plays, deflections, one-timers, rebounds, screens, slot line, everything. They're like last year they were 3rd to 11th in all those categories. This year, the best they are is 15th in rebounds, 19th in slot line, and then they're bottom 5 everywhere else. Like they're in their defensive zone's been killing them. Now the goalies have to be better, no question. But and the goalies are probably fighting it. Well, who would you play against Seattle? Is it Pickard? Is it Skinner after that game on Saturday? Or sorry, on Tuesday?
I mean, I think it has to be Skinner still. Like he's going to be the one that you try and get out of, unless you're going to make a change and make a trade or bring up Ingram, like make a move that way. You have to go back to Skinner. Like he's the one that's going to be the goalie to help you get out of this. And, I think that as much as he definitely needs to find that next level of his play without a doubt, you just went through a lot of numbers that point to how tough they've been in their own end. But one of the numbers you didn't mention, and I'm sure it was, it's out there, but is the amount more that they're playing in their end this year. And, so now all of a sudden, using Skinner as the example, like he doesn't get a break. It is like and even the other night, as much as you'd like a save, maybe, probably that 2-on-1, but like past that, like the amount of cross crease, like you can't expect him to play a minute and a half in his own end, staying in his crouch, make some good saves, and then a absolute dart across his toes that gets banged into an empty net. Like, again, the defense, and not just the defense, but the whole team defensively needs to be better and limit the time in their own end. Maybe that starts to shore up some of the goaltending debate more on the Skinner side. You still probably want to find a better option in the second spot, but if you can clean up in front, maybe Skinner gets moving the right direction, and then you find something to play the 1A, 1B.
For fun, I'll give you the GM hat, and you get one move for a goalie. We try to think realistic ones. We're not talking Sorokin. He's not coming to Edmonton. Okay,
that'd be nice though.
Yeah, it would be very nice. There's Merzlikins, there's Binnington, there is who am I missing? Binnington, Merzlikins. God, I just wrote the article now. I can't remember who the other. Oh yeah, Tristan Jarry is one.
Yeah.
There's some other guys. What move would you make? Would you just say Skinner out, this guy in, or would you rather bring someone in to go with Skinner?
I mean, if you can make the money work to go with Skinner, I think that would be for the best. Unless you're going to absolutely kind of Colorado it from last year and go whoever you bring in and Ingram up just to get a completely new look on the back end. But, to me, I think if you could make Binnington work here, regardless of what his numbers look like right now, like he's a guy that he won the Four Nations last year. He's going to be on the Olympic team this year. He's played in very big games where he has been under a lot of pressure and criticism from the outside. And walking into a situation in Edmonton where, that is going to be a question when if they do bring someone in, whoever they bring in, there's going to be a lot of watching every single movement that they make. And that's something Binnington's shown he can handle and honestly generally elevates his game.
Yeah. Well, see, now the thing about Binnington, I know, he elevates his game, but he hasn't elevated his game outside of the Four Nations for the last 2 years. His numbers have been on a downward decline all of last year, the regular season, and even worse this year. And I looked it up. The only goalie to win a cup in two different organizations at the start of the last 40 years is Patrick Roy. You look at now, there's been other guys who played on different teams there, like Marc-Andre Fleury won multiple cups 8 years apart, but when he won in 2009, 2009, he was a starter. When he won in 2017, he didn't even play a game in the Stanley Cup final. Right. So it just, Binnington, I know he's won a cup, but it was 7 years ago. Like at some point, to me, the 7-year cup run isn't more important in my analysis than the previous 3 years. Right. And yeah, 4 nations, but I'm forcing myself not to use recency bias and an incredibly small sample size of, hey, he made it. And really, I didn't even know if Binnington was really that important up until the gold medal game against USA, right? And that was great. It was one great game. Awesome. He can do it. But Stuart Skinner has elevated his game in Game 6 against the Stars. Otherwise, they don't win. And other games there against Vegas. So can you do it? Yes. For me, I'd rather do Merzlikins over Binnington. If it was me, I think he's more athletic. I think he's a guy still. Columbus is where one of his good friends died. And I just wonder if that's still a factor for him. He's also been on a bad team, right? Like I looked up his goals against and his expected goals against and everything. Like Columbus hasn't been a good team, and that probably can wear a goalie down after a while. So if I had to pick, Merzlikins would be my top target for the Oilers to go after.
To me, Merzlikins is, I think you're getting even closer to Skinner than what you really, if you're going to make a change, like Merzlikins is either on or he's all over the place and really loose in net. He's got a lot of holes. He plays, at different points a more athletic kind of just reaction type in the net. And, it is tough because he's been where he's been for so long that it's hard to know what he looks like in, with a better team and, going on a long run. But, like for me, I bring up Binnington because I played with him. I know his mindset, how he operates in a dressing room. I also know that as the stakes get higher, the cockiness in him that starts to come out is something that guys try to fake all the time, that they're that confident in themselves. Like Binner is that guy. And I think it brings the best out of him. You might not be overly happy through the regular season with what he does, but he'll help you get into the playoffs. And that's where I think he would, I think he'd take a big step back to what he showed last year and all those years ago.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see. Like in an ideal world, if you had Binnington and Skinner, that's probably the best scenario for Edmonton. I don't think cap wise or anything, it's realistic. So, we'll have to see what they do. There's Tristan Jarry, there's Merzlikins. There's some other guys, like maybe you just go and find a guy you think's going to pop. Like I still thought they should have claimed DiPietro off of waivers. Now they went with Ingram instead because basically they got him for nothing, right? But like if you look at DiPietro's numbers in the AHL compared to Ingram's, it's not even close. Now Ingram has a longer NHL pedigree for sure, but that was before he went into the NHL assistance program, and so he might never be the same. We don't know, but that's where I still would have, and I wrote about it all summer. We talked to Woodley many times. DiPietro, that's the guy I would have went after because they cost you nothing, and now the difference is Ingram's in the minors, and DiPietro you'd have to keep here. But I love Calvin Pickard, but I probably didn't worth trying to have DiPietro here. Maybe it wouldn't have worked. We'll never know, but maybe it could still work because Boston has 2 goalies there in the American League team that are playing great. And the truth of the matter is with Jerry Swayman signed long-term, they only ever need one of them to come up and play well, not both.
Yeah.
So awesome stuff. Landon, are you a football guy? Are you watching football today?
To be honest, not much of a football guy. As soon as I stopped playing, the football consumption went down quite a bit. I've got a bit more going on, so no, not a football guy. But I'm hearing you guys talk before I got on. I can't believe he wouldn't eat that. Like you just finished an NFL game, you're eating the leg. Like you're getting all the food you can get.
Yeah, very true. Awesome stuff, buddy. Have a good one. We will chat with you next week.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks.
There you go. That is Landon Frower. Quick break. We'll return and got a nice little array in studio for Thirsty Thursday next on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right. So Santa called up his pals at Legacy Heating. Ho, 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 golly gee, 1 year, no payments, interest-free. And the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
Weekends were made for Oil Kings Hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings take on the Saskatoon Blades. Enjoy the kids' fun zone with face painting and bouncy castles.
And it's Crazy Hair Day. Sculpt your wackiest hairdo and you could win prizes like teddy bear toss tickets, a team-signed jersey, and more.
Plus, score Calma Kids Food Combos for $10 or less.
Oil Kings Blades. Crazy Hair Day, 4 p.m. this Family Fun Sunday.
Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
I'm making my list, checking it twice. And guess what? I'm giving Will Hawk beef jerky to everyone, naughty and nice. Because honestly, everyone deserves a taste of Alberta's finest, no matter if they've been bad or good. So this holiday season, skip the chocolates and pass on the turkey. Make sure you're Will Hawking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Ho, ho, ho!
Call to place your pre-order today at 780-986-2537.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
I'm Gene Principe, bringing season's heatings from Legacy Heating and Cooling. For Yuletide comfort you'll love this Christmas. You should.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
There's no better way to fix your furnace. You just...
Call Legacy.
They're professional, never rude, doll. You should.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus no interest and no principal payments for 1 year when you buy with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Cons, that's the first time I've ever heard that song. I have to say it's kind of catchy.
You search beer and a lot of country music pops up.
Oh, geez. Breakfast beer. I've had a few of those over time. Not in a while, though. I have to say I haven't had one in a while. It was always good. The old hair of the dog, as many of us would call it. Back then, probably still call it that today. I'm not sure, but it was fun. It was fun. If you're a Chiefs fan, you're liking the start. Chiefs less than 2 minutes into the game. Mahomes hits Rashee Rice, and they are up 7-0. If you missed the early score, the Packers on the road in Detroit get the 31-24 victory. And now the Chiefs will try to go 2-0 for the road team. So they're off to a good start against Cowboys. Now, remember, the Cowboys, maybe they're just spotting them points like they did the Eagles last week. We shall see. Now, let's get to our another edition of Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, your one stop that has it all. If you're looking for cocktails, beers, wine, spirits, they have it all, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. Excellent selection from all over the world that will ensure that you leave there with something you like. Check it out. 2 locations, 50th Street, 92nd Ave, and of course, the original one on St. Albert Trail and 118th Avenue. David Owens from Sherbrooke Liquor joins us once again. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, you're in a real good mood. You obviously didn't watch the game on Tuesday.
No, it was sort of on the back. I suffered through it a little bit, but I was at my acupuncturist this morning, and she just works absolute magic.
Okay,
in there.
and your neck's feeling better?
Oh, the neck's feeling better. She tweaked my eyesight a bit. Unreal stuff.
Tweaked your eyesight.
No, she tweaks your eyesight. So
With an acupuncture?
Yeah. So
she put it in your forehead?
She gets a little thing in your forehead, and then you look at the wall and you focus on things. She's like, "Okay, tell me when it gets better," and she just starts moving it, and she'll fix your focus.
Really?
It's unreal. Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Well,
I was always partial to the Bauer. Actually, there's that breakfast beer, but the Bauer is that's amazing. So
what's that?
Well, that's after you've had a workout or something, or you've been out.
You have a beer after?
No, you have a beer in the shower.
Oh.
Right?
Well, you know what? I don't know if I've though that's not true. I did in men's league a few times.
Yeah, see, there you go. The Bauer is it is fantastic.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Now, today we are going, because it is going to get cold. It's going to be kind of like the first cold weekend of the year.
That's right.
Minus 15 and stuff. Don't worry, it's going to be short-lived. So today we've pulled out some winter ales.
Yeah. We're going dark here. And so this is going to be the last run of beers we're going to do for the year with you guys. We're planned out for the rest of the year. And this is the last amount of beers.
All right. Okay.
We're going to get some creative with some other things. So we're buckling up. These are winter warmers. It's that season. These are amazing beers. The Belgians and the Nordic habit of brewing these stronger, heartier ales when the weather turned cold.
This smells unbelievable.
The Belgians have been doing this stuff for years, right? So this first one we're getting into is Whistler Brewing's Dunkel. And so, of course, Whistler out of Whistler. And this is, you look at you can see the thing on there, the chocolate and the orange. And you think those orange chocolates?
Yeah, yes.
Yep. Think about that, right? When you're giving that a taste, a smell and a taste.
That is very as anybody, if you're just joining us, we've learned from Dave that if you want to be a real beer connoisseur, you swirl it in your glass. When you go to take a sip, first of all, you get your nose in there, but you open your mouth as you take in a breath, and you'll get much more of the flavors. And actually tastes really good, but smells even better.
Yeah, it tastes like the Terry's chocolate orange.
Yeah, it's pretty darn close, actually.
It's pretty darn close.
Not as sweet, which is good, because I don't want too sweet.
And this is an absolute favorite of people. This is a cult classic. So people will come in, they try a bottle, and they're like, they come back, they buy a few more. And next thing you know, they panic buy and they fill their trunk full of it before it's over for the season.
Oh, so this is here for a few?
This is just seasonal. Yeah. And once it's sold out, it's sold out. And so this is this time of year, you got to get on some of these things.
Get the Dunkel, boys and girls. Get the Dunkel this
The Whistler
weekend.
Brewing Dunkel.
And next up, we got Samuel Smith.
Yeah. So we're moving into Sam Smith. So Sam Smith is like the OG of classic English brewing. So this is a winter welcome style. It's one of the defining holiday beverages. Comes out every year. It's been coming out since the late 80s.
Really?
Yeah. So this one, it's got that herbal hoppy sort of snap to it. Oh
my God, these beers are really good, dude.
Mm.
Only seasonals too. Wow.
This
smooth.
is so
They're
great.
really smooth. There's zero aftertaste.
No, these are super smooth, tons of flavor. Really warming on the body. They're just top notch beers.
Yes. God.
Yeah. So
this
one's we've gone 5%. We've moved up to a 6%. It's a really wonderful beer.
Yes, quite like it.
Yeah. So now we're going on. We're moving into Belgium.
Now this is funny because when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be creamy," and it's not. But the bottle itself. So this is Delirium.
Delirium, yes. And this Delirium Tremens, these guys have been around since 1654. So this has got, 1654. So this has got centuries of that brewing history coming together. And so this is their Nocturnum, carries that centuries of Belgian winter beer DNA in it. Beer is meant to be shared around the family tables.
Oh my God.
And this thing, it's gonna surprise you, but this is 8.5% alcohol.
Really? Because I took a sip of it, does not taste like a hard beer at all.
No, and all Deliriums are in that range. There's there's a regular Delirium, there's a red, there's this. And they're just,
dude, I'm no joke. Like, we've had a lot of beer. These first 3 beers, I'm like, I love them all equally for different reasons.
Yeah.
But they are so smooth. I never had one of them before. God,
yeah.
What a loser.
These are amazing. And Deliriums are a year-round favorite for me. I like them from time to time.
Yeah.
Like, not gonna have too many of them.
Well, I know.
At 8.5%, but they're amazing.
Oh,
and if you're ever in Belgium, one of the things that I love going there for is you get served your beer in its proper glass from the brewery, whatever it may be. So if you order a Delirium, you're getting a Delirium glass. Good and Careless, you're getting a Good and Careless one, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
And so right now, also at the store, we just got these in. They won't last very long. There's gift packs of the Delirium. There's 4 beers in it. There's the 2 regular, 2 Christmas are regular, and this Nocturnum. And then you get a glass in it. And it's a really cool glass. They change them up every year.
So
really
you want to
great
buy
pack.
2 4-packs, and then you got 2 glasses.
That's right. Exactly. And a great night for 2 people. You drink 4 of those things each year.
You'd be flying after that.
You'd be flying after that.
Ooh.
So yeah, really fantastic stuff. And I think we also have some Chimay gift packs this year. They also have a glass.
Now you're getting
and I know
there's
there's a white, a red, and a blue in there. And the blue is actually their original Christmas.
Yeah, I like the Chimay Red. Chimay Red's my favorite.
Yeah.
Struddy, who drinks what I like to call the beginner beer, he likes his Bud Light and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, it can't be that good." And I remember when I gave it in bottle, and he's like, reluctantly, he's like, "God, that is really good."
That is unreal.
These beers remind me a lot of that. Like, Belgian beer is awesome, and I'm telling any of our listeners who are beer connoisseurs, and these aren't beers that you want to go like Coors Light are beers if you're there just to get annihilated, because that's great, because the taste is irrelevant.
These are not crushers.
These are just sipping beers. Maybe you're watching the game right now, Oilers fans, and you need something to keep you calm and just be like, "God, that was a terrible giveaway, but whew, this beer is really smooth." These are the ones that you need right now.
100%. And so really stoked about this. So the next one we're moving into is one of my absolute favorites. This is the Guden Careless.
Oh, Guden
Careless Classic. So we thought that 1654 was a long time. These guys have been around since 1471. 1471. So this is built as a Belgian dark strong ale. So this is all about those deep malt complex. Thinking those raisins, fig, molasses, warm caramel, cocoa nibs, dark bread, bacon spice.
Like, it's just, there's no zero aftertaste. It's so smooth. It's very flavorful.
So much flavor. Like, just amazing.
And when that tip you gave me of swishing around your mouth and hold it for a few seconds, God, you really get that taste.
Really get it. Exactly. You nose it with your mouth open a bit. You mouth it a bit. It is just, you can sit and really take your time enjoying it. And as they warm up, that's why you see a lot of these, they come in like more of a snifter style. So you hold them, cup them. And the more you hold them, they warm up a little bit. The flavor will come out even more and more and more.
I can see why. Like, honestly, these are 4 for 4 bangers. Like, I try to always be honest. That's when we talk about it. It's like, if I don't like it, I don't like it. But God, like, if you had to make me pick one right now, this would be the hardest.
It's the tough
decision.
one. It's tough. Well, we'll try and get there afterwards. But anyway, the Good and Careless also. Once we used to be able to get their Good and Careless Christmas, and we haven't had it for years. It doesn't come in anymore. But it was my absolute favorite, and it actually this is the basis
Why can't
of
you
it.
Get it?
Just not about if we get coming across and shipping, and so it's based on, this is their basis for it, and they barrel age it in the different barrels and so on. There's also a whiskey barrel aged one that they have when you're in Belgium, and it's sometimes we've had here, and it is also spectacular.
Like, for strong beers, 8%, 8.5. Usually they got a lot more bite. You're like, oh God, these are
they balance out the alcohol.
Yeah,
they balance out the alcohol perfectly.
Yeah.
Now
the last one comes in a little stubby.
Yeah, last but not least, we're going to the Nice Schoof And Le Choufs are, this is a French, and this is the Brasserie de Chouf.
Okay.
They throw some herbs, orange peel into this winter beer, and this moves us up to a 10% alcohol. It's firmly in that Belgian winter style territory.
Yeah, 10%. Ooh, you can taste it a little bit in there. Little strong.
The Le Chouf is
Yeah.
definitely, you're finally starting to get a little bit of that.
Yeah.
There's definitely that warming characteristic of the alcohol that comes through. But this is,
So if you store these at your house,
yeah,
should they be room temperature, not in your fridge, or should you have them in your fridge?
I keep them in the fridge, but yeah, I mean, take it out a little bit before you're going to drink it, pour it for a while, sit it, and take your time with it.
Kind of let it, you could decanter it if we want.
Yeah, decanter it in your glass. And,
yeah, just in your glass, just leave it there.
Take your time with it. Like, hold your glass, use a snifter. Like, don't use a pint glass you normally would use or anything like that at home. Get a proper snifter for it, and even a wine glass. If you don't have a snifter, put it into a wine glass so you can hold on to the bottom of it and cup it and let it warm up a little.
Real classy, gentlemen.
Yeah,
ladies. But these are, man, this is a really good selection today.
This is fantastic. Yeah, I knew that all these were going to be bangers. You're going to have a hard time with these ones. Like, these are just phenomenal beers, and I have a hard time picking. For me, I'm kind of that delirium, good and careless. Those are kind of probably my top two out of these. But man, they're all good for different things too. So
yeah, it is a very good selection. So does this come in like a pack for people if they come in?
They're individual bottles,
except the delirium.
Yeah,
right?
the delirium
4-pack.
Yeah, delirium's coming in that cool 4-pack with their Christmas ale, which we don't have in here. So it just showed up in the stores today. I know it's at OG today for sure, and Otwell probably tomorrow.
Okay,
maybe a little bit later on today. And then the rest of these should be in store, both of them, and and get them while they last. The delirium should be around a little bit longer. The good and careless is a year rounder, but the other three here are limited times.
All right, Dave, great selection, buddy. Now I'm very intrigued by what you have on store for us in December.
Oh yeah, we got some good stuff planned.
I like it. Awesome stuff, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go. That is Dave Owens from Sherbrooke Liquor. Go check in and just ask them when you stop in. You want some of the winter ales? Oh, these are good, man. Really, really good sippers. You're not sitting there. You're not chugging these. Well, I guess you could, but that'd be a waste. Let's get to Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. You thinking about swapping your tires? Well, Fountain Tire, they've got up to 15% off right now. Great time to make the switch and grab a new set before the rush. FountainTire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Thanksgiving south of the border, so we've got NFL football all day long. Earlier on, it was Jordan Love throwing 4 touchdowns as the Packers get past the Lions. 31-24 right now. Cowboys Chiefs tied at 7 midway through the first quarter, and later tonight, Joe Burrow returns under center for the Bengals as they're in Baltimore taking on the Ravens. Kickoff at 6:20. Good news for the New York Giants as Jackson Dart has cleared concussion protocol and is in line to play Monday night against the Patriots. And for the first time since fracturing his left wrist on November 16th, Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is a full participant in practice, which means he could play this weekend against the Bills. College football tonight, you've got 8-2 Navy taking on 8-3 Memphis from 5:30. And college basketball down south, number 10 Florida up on TCU, 70-68 with 6 minutes left in the second. In the first, North Carolina leads at Michigan State 22-15. And earlier this afternoon, it was Vanderbilt getting past VCU 89-74. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning and be joined by Shang Peng, talk from San Jose Sharks, and former NHLer Terry Ryan will swing by. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Jason Gregor isn't just a sports guy. He's a community builder. With over $2 million raised for local charities and his Gregor Foundation, he's making a difference on and off the air. Check out Gregor weekday afternoons on Sports 1440.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and indicated custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
They're not just a grocery store. They're
Looking-
a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market
Connor
does
Halley.
food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
Picture this. You're sleeping
I'd say it's
and
kinda catchy.
you're awake, but it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast.
Grab a new
Fast
set
forward,
before
you're there.
I'm tired.
What's this? You can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise style sauce. A happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee, still just $1 plus tax every day. And see. Get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with Tridom, tandem, and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, plows, backs, man lifts, pickers, refuse trucks, and more. Info at maauctions.com.
This Friday, 6 p.m. till midnight, don't miss the 71st Annual Kinsman Radio Auction. The Kinsman Club of Camrose invites you to join the fun and support their largest
that is-
fundraiser of the year.
Thank you.
Bid on a huge selection of items donated by generous local businesses. All proceeds will help the Kinsman serve our community's greatest needs.
David
The
Owens.
Kinsman Radio Auction. For details, find them on Facebook. You can also join the bidding in person this Friday night at the Bailey Theater on Main Street, Camrose. Details on Facebook.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring graders, excavators, forklifts, loaders, man lifts, skid steers, plus commercial trailers including 3 unused 2023 Timmins 55-ton triaxle lowboys. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on Thursday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, brought to you by Play Alberta. .ca. And so far, been offense 31-21 the first game. Chiefs and the Cowboys already each with a touchdown, and there's still 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. And then coming up later on tonight, you have the Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, the return of Joe Burrow. And at playalberta.ca, we have the Gregor Show special, which has the Ravens -7.5 and Zay Flowers over 68.5 receiving yards. You can check that out at playalberta.ca. Get some odds boost. Good luck. Cons, I know you've been half focusing on the show, half focusing on the games on television. The Chiefs, you know what? They got to win. It wasn't necessarily pretty last night, but their offense through 2 series looks really good today.
Yeah, and just classic Patrick Mahomes, 3rd and 14 there. The Cowboys spy him like they should, and he's just scrambles for 16 yards like he does in classic fashion. So they look, I don't want to, they look like they're back. The offense looks pretty dang good when they're all healthy and get Rashee Rice back from his suspension. It's a really good unit. Yeah, and Mahomes is just doing his thing. So might have been a good game to pick the over.
Yeah, maybe
some points going
at the rate they're going. Yeah, it might be. Well, that's what we did actually pick at playalberta.ca, and our first one, but that game is now down because the game has already started. We had taken the over for sure, and it was 53 and a half was the over today for the Cowboys and the Chiefs. The Edmonton Oilers, they take on Seattle next game. They've had some practice time here today. We'll get more on that. We heard from Matthias Ekholm in the first hour. We're going to get to TR now, joining us from Toronto, of course, former NHLer. He'll be in town, actually, as he's doing the tour right now. They were in Detroit. Now they're into Toronto tomorrow, taking on the Leafs alumni. And then he'll be into Edmonton. I think is it January 16th, TR, that you're in Edmonton? Or is it the 24th?
It's the 24th. You got it. It's 20 out. I will be out there. I'm coming out a little bit early. I should be there on the 16th, but the rest of us, we're playing Calgary, Edmonton, and then we're playing in Vancouver for the final leg of our Winter Classic.
All right. Is Wendell Clark playing against you tomorrow?
He did last year. I think this year he's going to coach. It's a lot of the younger bracket. Younger, I mean, whatever, 40s. Nick Antropop, Wayne Primo, Frankie Corrado, Ian White, guys like that, is Carlo Coliacco, guys like that tomorrow. Not that Wendell isn't a Toronto alumni, but he's going to, as far as I understand, he's going to be there coaching. I think Doug Gilmore might play tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right. The Edmonton Oilers, that was an ugly game, buddy, on Tuesday night. Ugly with a capital U. I guess the concerning part about it is just how many mental errors they're making right now. Guys, puck on their stick, turn it over. Board battle, turn it over. Errant pass, leads go the other way. It seems to be a virus that is spread across the whole team right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. If people say, the hangover from going deep or you're in a slump and you're squeezing your stick, but it's really, it looks like exhibition. And I know it's easy to blame Stuart Skinner, but I would be both goalies, I guess, which you just hear a lot of the backlash. But the thing is, pick, I don't know, the number one goalie in the league right now, whoever that is statistically, and put him in there. And I don't know if they're getting a win last night or a lot of these are going to be wins. So it's easy to look at the goalies. I hate to beat that dead horse, but I don't know. From what I saw, man, there was a lot of breakdown. There's a lot of like 10 to 15 feet passes being muffed. A lot of people that look unsure of themselves, like they're rookies. I guess that comes when you're squeezing your stick, but it doesn't look. I know, and the Oilers are famous for this the last few years, starting less than spectacular, but something looks amiss this year more than the others.
Yeah, no, it is an odd start. It's not. Hey, goaltending has to be better. There's no question about that. But their defensive numbers are they're horrific, really. When you consider them, I got some numbers from Clearsight Analytics, and their defensive areas and expected goals against where they ranked last year to this year, like on breakaways, broken plays, deflections, one-timers, rebounds, screens, slot line, like lots of different areas. And they're 23rd in breakaways, 28th broken plays, 29th deflections, 32nd on one-timers, 15th on rebounds, 28th on screens, 19th on slot line play. Like, there's none of them that are any good. And they're getting, like, the one-timers show that there's so much space they're giving up that, you know what, they're not getting in the lane. They're not being able, their sticks aren't in the lanes. They're giving up too many really good looks to the opposition. And all these areas last year, TR, they were anywhere from 3rd, 6th, and 3 of them 8th. The worst they were was 11th. And now the best they were is rebounds at 15th, but they're dead last in one-timers, 29th in deflections, 28th in screens and broken plays. And, like, they're front of the net. Like, it seems to be one of the most basic messages since you're a kid. Protect the house in your own zone, right? Protect the danger area in front of the net. And the Oilers are incredibly soft there. Like, to me, like, that's just a willingness, is it not? Or is there something they can do better to allow them to be a tougher team in front of their own goal?
I think most of it is willingness. I mean, there's putting yourself in the right position, but you know that by now, right? You know that by junior. So I can't put, honestly, I wish I had a better answer for you, but looking from afar, Jason, I don't know. Those numbers are glaring, especially considering it's a lot of the same people, you know, so what makes you go from so high one year to so low the next? I don't know. There's slumps, there's being fatigued, but like I said, these are veteran players making rookie mistakes that are giving the puck away way more than they ever have. For no apparent reason. It's not like you're in the middle of the playoffs and you're being pressured anymore. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a November lull. A lot of teams talk about that. Maybe it's just you've played so much hockey that, you know, it gets a little bit monotonous. That would be a terrible answer if that's it. When you're paid this is your job, you know, you should be able to rise above that. Now, or are we just in, you know, a little bit of a down slump? But to me, this is a bigger sample size than just a little bit of an error. Now, how much did Paul Coffey have to do with it? I really don't know. Then you're talking just defensively or just defenseman when you talk Coffey, because for me, there's a lot of offensive giveaways too. Like, it all starts somewhere. And it's not like, even though we're talking about defense, we're mostly talking about everybody's commitment to defense or lack of one. So, I mean, I don't know. I can only speculate, but it usually points to either being really fatigued, being nervous for some reason, having an overabundance of rookies in the lineup, or having some problem in the room. And they don't seem like a team that has a problem in the room. So, you know, you don't usually ride 3 years of, you know, getting to the final and all that together, whether you win or not. Not usually a problem in the room. So I don't know, Jason, your guess is as good as mine, but they got to clean it up soon, because these games mean a lot. It might be November, but they mean an awful lot, and it's going to get down to the wire, and this is all going to be important.
Terry Ryan joins us. TR, I noticed, man, you've really gone high and tight with the old hairstyle right now, eh? Trying to look a little bit younger overall there. Is that the new look? Is that the new character? What's happening?
I thought about, I had a couple of auditions lately that, lately, like today and yesterday, that called for maybe someone a little bit younger. So who knows? Maybe maybe it was subconscious. I thought it was time for a change, but yeah, I'm going for like in late 30s, early 40s, teacher, and another one with a cop. So I think this is more of a cop than I looked.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, well, you have the jacket on as a cop. When you went to the teacher, something tells me you put the tooth in.
Yes, you got it exactly. And the one, there was two auditions with teeth in, which is really rare. Last week I had a couple, and both, no tooth, a gangster and a soldier who had been beaten up. But and so for aspiring actors out there that us on Shoresy, and you know, it must be great. There you go. I probably won't get any of these. I get about 1 out of every 20. For those who are curious, that's and
20 tryout basically.
Yeah. And
so,
it's not.
Do you know, like, when you do the audition, can you tell when you done the audition and you're like, okay, I think I got a chance? You're like, I got no chance. Can you tell right away?
I can tell when I have no chance more than, because you could do it. You know, I've had them that I'm like, that couldn't have gone any better, but I don't see the other people, and it depends. You know, a lot of times, if a director or the casting or the producers, if one of them has a real good idea, like for Shorzy, I think, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think to some degree, Jarrett / casting had an idea that I think it might even have been written with me in mind. So that's different. I don't know how many people I audition with, but I'm guessing less than 10, and I put money on less than 5. But if for these normal casting calls, or if my agent calls and says, hey, there's someone with an East Coast accent, Newfoundland accent, someone with no tooth, those are the first 3 things, or an athlete or whatever, then there's stunts, right? So there's all kinds of opportunities. But yeah, I would average, I think, about 1 in 20. Yeah, about that. But I go for everything because you never really know. And sometimes you'll give them an idea. And the other thing is when my agent might call, or I see them, right? Once you get in the union, like everything in Ontario or Newfoundland, I just see it comes into my email. It could be a 13-year-old female hockey player. Not that I'm going to audition for it, but I see it because it comes, all the extra options come down, all the opportunities.
Okay.
So I generally go for everything because a director will remember you. It's like in junior going to your first camp, you're a 6th-round pick. You're probably not going to make it. But why don't I just go around and run everybody here, get up, speak articulately? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, why not? Go on and try. Give the director, the producers an idea of who you are, and they'll have that in mind for next time. I bet you close to half of the things I got are because I auditioned for something else with the same group.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of, hey, getting noticed, man. Young Clattenburg plays his 2nd NHL game, scores
Yeah.
a pretty nice goal in front. He had 7 hits. He's, and he's not looking out of place, right? Like, and now, unfortunately for the Oilers, Roslovic blocks a shot. He doesn't look like he's going to play. Kasperi Kapanen was coming back. He was scheduled to play, and it looks like he re-aggravated an injury or got another injury in practice day. Like, he was pissed. I've seen guys when they get hurt in practice. It was the last drill of practice. They just got caught up. He gets off the ice, TR. I don't know if you saw. I think Rashaga put a video of it, and the sticks are going all over. Like, I can tell right away that guy knows he's hurt, right? And that's frustration right there.
It is, and you know it when you see someone do that. It sucks because you never really know, but he really, really wants to come back. You're like,
I talked to him in the room.
Yeah. Oh man, you just hate to see that, right? You hate to see anybody get injured, but when you've gone through all that adversity and you're about to come back and you're a player that could really help, and you give everything, and I hate to see that, but when you go back to Clattenburg, I thought he deserved that goal, and I believe he made a pretty good hit to separate the player and the puck, like right before that or close to that sequence, and so it was nice to see him get rewarded so obviously. But I'll echo everything I said yesterday about him. He's only going to get better. The effort's there. I don't think I think it's ever going to get to a point that he's going out there and approaching the game like Willie Nylander. I think he's always going to go with his hard hat on first, and all the skills and everything are just going to have to come into their own if you're playing with better players. So hats off to him.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty fun to watch it. An unexpected player in a time right now. Oiler fans are pretty frustrated, and rightfully so. I think to a person, most Oiler fans like, well, I really kind of like that Clattenburg guy. It's something to watch for. And Edmonton is if they see you work hard, they will give you a long rope. It's been proven that I think if I had to describe the mentality of the average sports fan in Edmonton, they would be like, you know what? I'll respect guys first. Obviously, they appreciate the McDavids and the Drysaddles and Messiers and Gretzky, all those guys, of course, Warren Moon, any sport, right? But I've noticed over here, like you give a solid, you make a mistake every now and then, they'll live with it when you're consistent with your effort. And that's something that's early on. And plus he's a young kid coming out of nowhere. No one thought Clattenburg was going to play in the NHL this year. And, he's got two games more than I thought. And he got a goal, for goodness sakes. Like, he's got a goal in 2 games. Kidding me? Like, that's massive for this team. So, you know what? I hope it continues. And I'll tell him, like, he doesn't look overwhelmed in the moment at all, Terry. Like, he's loving it. Like, I talked to him, he's just like, this is crazy, man. Like, he's got a big smile on his face, as he should be. He's been in the league for a week, but he's not overwhelmed by the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that probably would have been the biggest thing you were questioning, right? For a guy to come out of, not out of nowhere. He's at least been well on the radar. I just mean, given his hockey past, I don't think a lot of people were looking on their bingo card and saying, you know what, Clattenburg's going to come in early in the season, put on a clinic, be a leader. And I mean, because when you go out there, that stuff's addictive. When you look at the game, he is a leader. I don't care how many games he got played in the NHL. He's leading by example. I don't think anybody thought he'd come out and have a goal like that, or that he'd even play a regular shift. But again, you're going to do that. And I think sometimes I don't remember what changed the course, the trajectory of the season, maybe last year or the year before, but maybe one of them was Knobloch coming in, and that's often the case. But it's often, something like this for a guy to come in, because the Oilers are way better than this. And, maybe something like this will wake the older players up, and they're the more experienced players up. You got a guy out there that, has barely any experience in the league and is putting his heart on the line and wearing his heart on his sleeve, getting out there every single shift. There's second effort, and then there's just not giving up on anything. And like I said, that's leading by example. It's also addictive to the rest of the team.
TR, have yourself a great weekend. Good luck tomorrow night. Set the tone early on, TR. Set the tone.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Edmonton. I'll see you guys again real soon.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan. Shorzy, them and the fellas, they'll be in Edmonton on the 24th of January, taking on an Oilers alumni team. I know the Human Rake is coming back for that. Pretty big deal. He'll be in town and more. And he's in town for that. And then he's staying because the Oilers, they have another game on the Monday afterwards on Prime. So there you go. Let's take a quick break. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. He'll update you on the busy Thursday afternoon NFL games. Shen Peng's going to join us. The San Jose Sharks. They were taking some strides. They got a little bit of a spanking maybe by the Colorado Avalanche, but there's lots of positives in San Jose. How serious do you think they are about making the playoffs? We'll find out next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter watches the big game. Go deep! What you watching, Mr. Rooter? The Plumbing Olympics. Frankie Dragon Sanchez is attempting to break the world record in the 100-meter snake. Watch! Wow! Did you see that? He snaked out a 50-pound clog. And in the middle of that wad, a gold medal. What theater?
Yeah, that's very cool, Mr. Rooter.
For a plumber who's good as gold, call Mr. Rooter.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off. And with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned, with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie, and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
Wow. Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
today. Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Thursday afternoon. Oh, my goodness. It is Offense-a-Rama. And the Kansas City Chiefs, man, Patrick Mahomes is putting on a clinic early on here today. I know, the Cowboys defense is, what are they? Are they just average cons, I think, statistically? Nothing special, but he is making mincemeat of them so far in this game. Let's go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. It's a new era for veggie lovers. Have you tried the McVeggie yet? More than a sandwich, it's an iconic flavor moment. The McVeggie and spicy McVeggie only at McDonald's. And one of the big surprises early on this National Hockey League season is the San Jose Sharks, 11-10-3 so far in the season. They had a rough going on last night, taking on the hottest team in the NHL, the Colorado Avalanche, but Macklin Celebrini is making Sharks fans very excited. He might even have an outside chance to chase Joe Thornton for most points a single season as a member of the Sharks. But even that's probably lofty. But he could become only the 7th teenager in NHL history to score 100 points. He has 34 points in his first 24 games. He is on fire, and our next guest has been covering him every stride of the way as we go to San Jose. Shen Peng joins us from San Jose Hockey Now. And Shen, obviously it's been a few tough years for the Sharks. It is for any team that's in a full rebuild. But man, Celebrini has come out and exceeded expectations. I know he's obviously a high pick, but I don't think anybody thought that this guy would already have the start to the season he's had in year number 2. He's getting lots of talk about maybe being on Team Canada. And I got to think he has Sharks fans excited, and maybe the most excited they've been in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I just was coming out of practice. They had a Thanksgiving practice at Sharks Ice, and they also have right now the Sharks Ice has 6 ice sheets. They have a big tournament going on there. A lot of kids at the rink today on all 6 sheets. And walking into the practice rink, all I could hear the kids talk about is, I saw Macklin Celebrini. He was just walking right by.
Yeah.
So there's excitement that people have in the Bay Area for hockey that they haven't had since the last time the Sharks made the playoffs.
Yeah. And, Celebrini, you look at it, hey, like Celebrini, Will Smith's a good player. Askarov played really well for them in goal. They've got a lot of pieces. They obviously need more of it for sure moving forward. But outside of Celebrini, what has been the biggest key to success here for the Sharks after they were winless in their first 6 and people are thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a brutal year. And then they put on a pretty good stretch here in their last 15 games.
Well, before being spanked by Colorado last night, Askarov had a save percentage of .955 in November. He won 7-0-1. So that's your answer for what else has been going right. But to the Sharks' credit, though, they've also played generally better hockey. went to a 2-1-2 forecheck after the 6th game of the season. I think that helped them because that forecheck is a little more about skating, a little more aggressive, and that fits guys like Macklin Celebrini, a great skater, guys like Ty Dellandrea, guys like Barclay Goodrow, who can still skate pretty well. So I think that system fit them more than the 1-1-3 that they were using more regularly at the start of the season, which is a little more passive, and which maybe doesn't suit this kind of young personnel. So I think that was a big part of it too. But if you really look at the reality of it, though, a lot of it is Askarov just playing out of his mind.
Yeah, well, so he's covering up a lot of mistakes, is what you're saying. Because if I look up and down that blue line of the Sharks, like that's obviously the area they're looking to improve, no question. What do you think is the mindset of Mike Grier heading in, down the stretch? Obviously, he wants his team to be more competitive, but at the same time, I don't think he wants them to be too competitive just yet. They're still in their rebuilding mode, right? So, you look at their back end and they got a whole bunch of defensemen that are in the final year of their contract. Nick Leddy, John Klingberg, Mario Ferraro, Timothy Liljegren, Vincent Desharnais, Dmitry Orlov only has another year after this. Mario Ferraro's been there the entire time, and he's been a pretty good soldier for the Sharks. Do you think they look at re-signing him, or do you think every one of these defensemen they're looking at moving potentially by the deadline?
Yeah, Merrill's a really interesting case because as far as I understand it, it's been reported elsewhere too that Merrill has sort of been available on the trade block for a number of years. And my belief is that they've always held out for a first-round pick for him. A couple years ago, I was told that they were offered from Carolina Jack Drury and a second-round pick for Ferraro, which is a pretty good offer for Mario Ferraro. And they declined that because they were holding out for a first. Now, this year, he's going to be UFA, so I'm not sure if that makes him more or less valuable to a team. And for the Sharks, now that they're on the upswing a little bit, maybe they consider re-signing him more because Mario, like you said, is a good soldier. He is great in the room. He's been an alternate captain for the last 4 years, I believe. And so if there's a guy that deserves, quote unquote, to come back, I think he's as good a candidate as any. Beyond Mario, I think they would love to move Klingberg and Leddy, but Klingberg and Leddy have both struggled this year. Right now, the Sharks are actually carrying 9 defensemen on their roster because they also claim Vincent Iorio, who they like, and I don't think they want to waive him again. So they are kind of in a pickle right now in terms of the number of defensemen that they have. Vinny Desharnais, you mentioned, he actually has solidified himself at the moment as being a very solid PKer. And he's also a kind of guy that the Sharks don't have a lot of at the moment. This past summer, they made a concentration on trying to add guys who can move the puck a little bit better, guys like Orlov, Klingberg, and Leddy, guys who have a history of doing that. And so Desharnais kind of was left as sort of a kind of stay at home. I mean, you guys know him well in Edmonton, but he has found a nice role in San Jose after being sat for a couple games there. After he came back in the lineup, I think around also the beginning of November when Askarov started taking off, the PK also helped by Askarov, obviously, but they also have cut down on chances allowed. And so the PK, I think, has only given up 2 or 3 goals in the month of November. And not saying that's all on Desharnais, but he adds an element of physicality, of a walling off the front of the net that the other Sharks defensemen don't do as well as he does. And so he's a guy that I can see actually them maybe considering re-signing, especially if they do trade a good locker room guy like Ferraro go, then maybe Desharnais is the guy that they keep. And also too, I've seen that Desharnais has formed a kind of a mentorship with Sam Dickinson, and Sam Dickinson obviously is the Sharks' hope is their next great defenseman, 19 years old. And so that is sort of a good match there too. So another reason to maybe keep Vinny Desharnais. Timothy Liljegren is in the picture too, and he's been up and down this season. He's had good stretches. He's had also been healthy scratch at times too. And so I think I could see a team being interested in him, but he'll probably have to be more consistent in his play in the next month or so.
Sam Dickinson, the youngster on the back end. There's another high pick for the Sharks. How's he looked in his 18 games?
I think he's been interesting. You see the obvious like skating and size. And I was looking up some numbers from Stathletes, and he's among the league leaders in high danger chances for a defenseman, just in terms of rate stats, at least. And that's because he can skate so well. So he attacks in front of the net, and he knows he can recover in most cases. And so that's kind of interesting there that he's up there for a stat like that. But of course, the production hasn't matched yet. You think that the production will match at some point, obviously. But while he does have these fabulous physical attributes, he still, I think, is working on the processing of the game. Same stats from Stathletes. He's among the leaders in most turnovers for a defenseman, or giveaways. So that's the kind of thing that obviously happens to young defensemen when they're still trying to process the game. And so anyway, so I think that with Sam, I think it's going to be a slow process. He's got to pick up on that. Well, the processing of the game, and when he does, then the offense will start to come. But you see the physical flashes. He seems to be a kid that can kind of bounce back from a bad game or a bad turnover, and that's really important, especially when you're playing defense for the San Jose Sharks. And so he's done a good job of that, and so I think he's coming along really well.
What's Ryan Reeves added to the Sharks?
Oh, Ryan Reeves has been terrific in the room. I think Ryan Reeves is one of those. I think we talked about the Reeves for Thrun trade over the summer. On the surface, it looks like, what are you doing, Mike Greer? You're trading a 23-year-old defenseman that you thought was a pretty good prospect in Henry Thrun a couple of years ago for a guy who's 37, 38, a UFA that Maple Leafs were scratching routinely last season. But you don't allow for in that kind of consideration, when you just look at age and what Henry Thrun, even though Henry Thrun is with the Marlies now, Henry Thrun's still young enough. He can still make himself into a regular NHL player one day. But anyway, in that calculation of a trade, though, you don't see what Ryan Reeves adds to the room, the swagger. You guys have probably seen the Sharks Player of the Game Award, which is a shark necklace that the players have to wear. If they do media post game, they usually go tarps off with the necklace, and that's a necklace that Ryan Reeves bought. And Macklin Celebrini in the locker room, he sits next to Tyler Toffoli and Ryan Reeves. There is a reason for things like this, and so Reeves has brought, I think, just to the locker room just so much. Even on the ice, he doesn't skate quite as well as he used to. He's not the terrifying forechecker they used to be. You talked to scouts 5 years ago about Ryan Reeves as a forechecker, and defensemen were afraid of him. That's what they would tell me. They'll be like, yeah, that guy's afraid. They can tell. he gave up that puck quick when he knew that Reeves was headed toward him. He's not quite as ferocious in that way anymore, but he's still effective, though. I think he can still get the guys. He can still punish guys. And obviously, too, he can still fight, too, which we saw in fights against Matt Rempe and I think Hayden Hodgson recently. So he can still throw him. So he's still an effective player for what he does. Obviously, he's not going to add a lot of offense, but if you take him for what he is and also you add that locker room element, very, very valuable.
And you look at, the season, it's still very young, but it's progress for the Sharks. Although you did mention that their goaltender is really saving their bacon in a lot of ways. So, I don't see the Sharks as a playoff bound team by any stretch of the imagination. In an ideal world, they're probably getting another top 5 pick and maybe lucking out and winning the lottery, right?
Right. Hey, that's what the Islanders did to them last year.
100%.
If Mike Ritter could hop in the time machine and rig the draft lottery to get Matthew Schaefer, I think he definitely considered that, right? That's exactly what the Sharks need in their system, a Matthew Schaefer. And so hopefully the Sharks, wherever they end up, and they don't want to be the worst team in the league again, and looks like they should be able to escape that because Macklin Celebrini's sort of emergence looks pretty for real. So he should be able to drag him out of it just kind of by himself there. But anyway, though, they don't want to be the worst team in the league, but of course you want to win the lottery and have a shot at a Verhoff or somebody of that sort. And that's exactly what the system needs, a true blue future number 1 defenseman.
And is there any other guys in the system that you think San Jose is pretty high on, down in their American League team that we should expect to see up here, at some point this season?
Well, one guy that you don't hear too much about is Igor Chernyshov because he was a 2nd-round pick. And he actually was the first pick of the 2nd round in the 2024 draft. after Dickinson and Celebrini. Right now, it's looking like a very good draft for the Sharks, obviously led by Celebrini, but Dickinson's developing well, and Chernyshov's been gangbusters for the Barracuda in the past, in November also. And he's a guy that's a very cerebral, kind of a big body, but he's a guy that once he kind of got to speed in AHL, he's really taken off. I think he scored like 9 goals this month in the AHL, and so he's a guy that I think that you're going to hear a lot about. Quentin Musty, who you guys know a little more of because first round pick, but he's also excelled down there, and so they have a lot of good young winger forwards. Cam Lund's another one, Casper Halton, who you guys know well, the London Knights. So he's an interesting prospect too. But yeah, with defense still, that's still going to be a little bit of a question mark. Luca Cagnoni has done well for them, but he's small. So he's going to be more on the offensive side.
Awesome. Shen, great stuff, man. We really appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you, and enjoy the season. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks. Talk to you soon.
You betcha. There's Sheng Pen from San Jose Hockey. Now, they got some good young talent in San Jose, but defensively, still some areas that they need to improve on for sure. We'll come back. We'll get to Cam Tate in the 2-minute warning. We'll update you on a thrilling Thanksgiving matinee today between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. We got more NFL coming up. We'll hear more from Stuart Skinner. Some interesting comments from the Oilers netminder, as well as Zach Hyman, who is a lot of times kind of like that voice of reason in the room. We'll see what he thinks about his team and how they can get out of this funk that they've been in. That and more coming up next few hours of the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll get your thoughts. We'll have a little fun in the 4 o'clock hour on trades. You get to be the GM. We'll talk about some trades you think are realistic here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
An electrical solar team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I'm obviously going to get the McVeggie, medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. It's my favorite meal, and it's new. Plus, if I get that, maybe he'll want it too. And then he'll always thank me for introducing him to the McVeggie. I'll be a hero.
So, McVeggie fries and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a McVeggie meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the move, you're never more than a tap away from Sports 1440. Download the radio player or iHeart app today so you can get all access anytime to Edmonton's only sports radio station, Sports 1440.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with Tridem, tandem, and single-axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, plows, vacs, man lifts, pickers, refuse trucks, and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Mission Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes, selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Sports 1440 is proud to support the Camrose Kinsman Radio Auction. Tune in Friday from 6 p.m. to midnight, live from the Bailey Theater on our sister station, New Country 98.1. All proceeds go to the Kinsman Club of Camrose to serve the community's greatest needs. For more, visit sports1440.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday afternoon. Ooh, the Cowboys. Davis with a huge play, and suddenly they are leading 17-14, going back and forth. Cowboys and KC in the final 2 minutes of a high-scoring first half. The Chiefs trying to take the lead or pull within one before half. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our inbox. We'll get to your thoughts on trades, who you like, who you don't like, and more coming up after 4 o'clock. First, though, we're going to get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year. And hey, speaking of Legacy Heating, the month of giving begins next week. And if you go to jasongregor.com, you can see the packages. And Legacy Heating, once again, has stepped up with an unreal package. So we got next week packages all up for grabs. You can check it out at jasongregor.com. You know, some of the classics. We have the furnace, something AC. Everybody always needs it. They always get the state-of-the-art, the newest one possible. It's a phenomenal deal. All the money, of course, goes to charity. And, we have golf memberships. We have dinners. We have, water systems. We've got a few new gifts this year. So starting next Monday is our 15th annual month of giving. In our first 14 years, we raised an amazing $1.55 million. When you think about it, we usually have about 16 days that we use for the auction, and we've done over $140K for the last few years, which is remarkable. So thank you very much in advance for your generosity. Very much appreciated. Now, 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy with Cam Tate. Of course, a longtime journalist in town. Cam, of course, has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. It hasn't slowed him down. And through the wonders of technology, his words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
There was this quiet hush over West Edmonton Mall. The kind of hush you only get before the day remembers it has work to do. I was there, coaxing my mobile command center out of its case, hoping it behaved better today than I did before my first cup of coffee. And then came Connor Halley. Goodness, I can't tell you what Connor means to mornings like this. He has this way, a very rare way, of making you feel like the world hasn't forgotten you. No fanfare, no fuss, just kindness in motion. He helped me plug everything in, lifted what I couldn't, checked what I missed. And as he steadied the last chord, he told me, gently, almost like he was passing along a secret, people are already lining up. Already at West Edmonton Mall, hours before a single autographs from Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard, who won't sit down until 6 o'clock tonight. I asked him, "What time is it now?" He looked. 11 a.m. So let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hours early, and that caught me right in the chest. Because the Oilers are struggling, we know that. The goaltenders have been pulled through every headline, every hot take, every armchair analysis this town can produce. Skinner, our hometown kid, carrying criticism like it's sandbags strapped to his shoulders. Picard, the teammate everyone respects, saying with bravery and honesty, "I need to be better." We know cold mornings and long seasons, but we also know how to wrap someone in warmth when they need it most. With December just around the corner, the month of giving, maybe these fans are lining up not for a signature, but for a moment to say, "We see you. We're still with you." Maybe a handshake, maybe a smile, maybe a quiet holiday wish to two men who could sure use one. And it can change the way someone walks into tomorrow. Gregor, Halley, Kruger, I'd wait 3 days for your autograph. Me, Tater, weekdays, sports, 1440.
Conman is a good dude. And yes, many of you, when I went for lunch yesterday, I actually saw they had a lot of the stuff already set up. And you know what? For people, I credit them. They stand in line for hours to get an autograph. And for some want the autograph. Maybe they sell it. Great. Others want it just for the opportunity to have an interaction, albeit briefly, with some of the players. And I can tell you, I talked to the players today before they go, and they say, you know what? Like, the newcomers are just kind of blown away. Guys who've been in the league 6, 7, 8 years are like, this doesn't happen in other places that they've played. Like, there's a few for sure. Like, obviously, most Canadian markets, it would be the same. There's some U.S. markets, but not very much like that. And despite the team, obviously, not having the start they want, they still have a lot of support, and I'm sure the fans will say a lot of nice things. And who knows? That encouragement right now is probably definitely got a better chance of doing more good than bad for them. So we'll see kind of where it goes from here, Conman. But obviously McDavid and Draisaitl have really long lines. I would think right now, you know who might have the surprising one? And I know that Sam's out there. I might have to get an update from him. I'd like to know where Connor Clattenburg is at, because right now he'd be a fan favorite.
Yeah, and I think they slotted him in, joined another group, obviously, being a little bit more of a recent addition. It was with Hyman and Philp. So obviously Zach Hyman's line is going to be quite big. We heard that was pretty long. But yeah, McDavid, Draisaitl, obviously they're going to be sitting by themselves, get people in and out as quick as possible. But the goalie line was big. And that was,
Oh, there's a lot of people. Like, I always try to remind people that social media. Do you know how many Oiler fans are on social media? Like maybe 10%, right? And some, there's some that are very positive, but there's lots that are negative. And if you get caught up in thinking that that's the true reflection of all fans, it's mistaken. It just isn't. Right? There's lots of fans that, they get upset, but there's also lots of fans like, hey, you know what? I support that guy. And too often I find that we focus more on the loud ones, because a lot of times the quiet ones are just as supportive. And I've always argued this in life and politics and everything. I think we probably need to be a little bit more vocal at times when you support something, rather than only being vocal when you don't support it. Just a thought. Imagine if the people were as supportive about the things or as vocal about things they supported compared to things they didn't support. I'm sure there's been hundreds of studies done why it isn't happening. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greggs, what's your thoughts on Kosa? I know there's a lot of people who's come around this year with Detroit want for him. News rep Detroit. Well, News rep Detroit can tell you this. I think Kosa, if I'm Stan Bowen, hey, what do you think of Kosa? I'm not trading him. Thank you. Bye. It's a quick decision. You look at, so Cam Talbot's 38. John Gibson's 32. They have Gibson has an 870 save percentage. Talbot has an 888 save percentage. Kosa's down in the minors. He's crushing it. He's a young goalie. This is his 4th year of pro. Played 1 year in the ECHL. It's his 3rd year in the American League. And you know what? I think they're bringing him along slowly. But I'll tell you, Detroit, the longer this season goes, where they stay in the race despite getting average goaltending, well, actually not even average, below average. Like, Gibson's numbers are worse than Skinner's when it comes to expected saves and stuff like that. For anybody just wondering, when I told you last year, John Gibson was not an upgrade on Stuart Skinner. I could be wrong lots, but that one I was right. And I think it's only a matter of time before Detroit says we've got to give Kosa a shot here. Right? Like you look at other young goalies around the league and what they've done. And when you consider what they're doing with their veteran goalies, now, would it be hard to fit those guys in? Yeah, I get it. Right? Do you carry 3? You know, what are you going to do? That's a challenge for sure, but that's a GM's job. But I think it's a full non-starter for Detroit to consider trading Sebastian Kosa. Now, it doesn't mean you don't make the call, but I'd be surprised when I look at the age of their other goalies. I think they like Kosa for the future. Not necessarily for now, but definitely for the future and maybe later on this year. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca Quality Markets. They've got gourmet meals made fresh, never boring, and now they deliver. Order today at loca.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Thanksgiving down in the States. We've got 3 football games today right now. Chiefs and Cowboys. Cowboys up 17-14 with 15 seconds left in the first half. Earlier today, it was Jordan Love throwing 4 touchdowns for the Packers. They get past the Lions 31-24. Tonight, you got the Ravens and Bengals. Joe Burrow returning to the lineup for that one. Good news for the New York Giants. Jackson Dart clearing concussion protocol. With that, he is in line to play Monday night against the Patriots. And the Pittsburgh Steelers should have Aaron Rodgers back as he practices today for the first time since November 16th when they take on the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. College football down south, number 8-2 Navy taking on 8-3 Memphis. That gets going at 5:30 on the hard court. Earlier today, it was upset. TCU knocks off number 10 Florida 84-80. Right now, number 11 Michigan State leading number 16 North Carolina 53-46. Christina Black upset second-ranked Carrie Anderson 6-3 earlier today in the women's semifinal at the Canadian Curling Trials. The 21st-ranked Black will now meet world number 1 Rachel Homan of Ottawa in the best-of-3 final starting tomorrow. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk some football with Andy McNamara and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Oodle Noodle Origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts. And play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in. Eating.ca.
You matter. That's what matters. Not alone is an organization focused on acceptance, support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. Page, not okay.
Oh, winter is really freaking cold, right? So play it smart. Don't get caught freezing in your car with your pants down and no power. At Big Toy Shop right now, lead acid batteries are just $129. $129 is a great price for a good start. Big Toy Shop. Power up and save some bucks at Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
Born from work, built for play. Carhartt's all-new Super Ducks Tech Jackets are built for hard-working people who can't sacrifice mobility for durability. This ultra-tough gear fights off wind, snow, and cold, while full-swing technology flexes with every move and still packs 3M insulation for maximum warmth. Try your new Carhartt Super Ducks at JobSite Workwear. 3 locations in Edmonton and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
JobSite Workwear, tough people, tough jobs.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. How are you? Basically halfway through Thanksgiving Thursday for football fans. It's halftime of the middle game as the Cowboys are leading the Chiefs 17-14. Earlier today, if you missed it, the Detroit Lions at home lose to Green Bay. So Green Bay is now 8-3-1, and Detroit are they 8-5? I think they are. So that's a pretty big win for them, especially on the road. And now the Chicago Bears, that's a help for the Bears, no question. Yeah, 8-3-1 for the Packers, 7-5, for the Detroit Lions. So game and a half back now of the Packers. And then, of course, the late night tonight game has Joe Burrow returning from injury. The Bengals taking on the Baltimore Ravens, who have won 5 in a row and have now caught the Steelers, who, early on it looked like the Steelers were going to run away with their division. They're 2-3. The Ravens are 5-0. They've gained 3 games in the last 5 weeks, and now they're tied atop that division. Aaron Rodgers banged up. Lamar Jackson's back. I think the Ravens are probably going to walk their way home to win that division. So there you have it. And then, of course, Sunday we'll have a slate of games. Big ones. That Philly-Chicago game. Who would have thought that that's an 8-3? Now the Bears, can they win on the road in Chicago? That'd be quite the accomplishment for sure. You have other games that I think have pretty significant playoff. Well, obviously Jacksonville needs a win. They're in Tennessee. You got to win that game. Connor's Chargers are taking on the Raiders. Like, my goodness, if there was as close to a free space in the bingo card in the NFL, it's them right now. You got the Bills in Pittsburgh. Late game in Sunday afternoon. Denver on the road. Monday Nighter has New England taking on the Giants. New England should win that game. So there's not a lot of real big matchups the rest of this week, Cons.
No, you're right. It's really one of those weeks where it kind of falls off after these games. Colts, Texans, maybe we see something just because the Texans do have that ability, like we talked about last week, to rush and cover. They can slow teams down. Daniel Jones has a fibula injury, I believe.
I read that, yeah.
That sounds concerning. And MTR, a listener to the station, had said that the weather in Cleveland looking at might be snowy. So all of a sudden, that makes the game very interesting between the Niners and the Browns.
How many sacks? How many sacks this weekend?
Oh, my goodness. Under 10. Not as many as last week. Myles Garrett is just
just for Myles Garrett. How many sacks do you think he's getting?
I'll take 2.
2?
2, yeah.
Yeah, well, he needs 5 to break the record, right?
Yeah, he's going to get it.
At some point, you would think. Yeah, it'd be stunning at this point. As long as he can stay healthy, that would be great.
And I mean, hey, let's just hope that the quarterback doesn't take a dive like Brett Favre did for Strahan.
Well, that would be kind of stupid. Yeah, I would hope not, for sure. Although Strahan, well, that's being tied now, right? Doesn't that record's there? Does it TJ Watt? Somebody else has 22.5.
Yeah, I think Watt got there as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
now, did he do it in?
Did he
Well,
do
an
it in
extra
his
game?
16th game? I don't know if he'd made it in the 17th game of the season or not. That's what makes this so unique. Heck, at the pace he's on, Garrett could do this in week 13 or 14, for goodness sakes. Wild. Absolutely wild stuff. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, as always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Our Gregor Show daily special, where you get odds boost, is coming up later tonight. We got the Ravens to cover the spread, and Zay Flowers at the over 68.5 passing yards. You get extra odds boost. If you're going to gamble, stay within your limits. Use your game sense. Just make it something that's fun, small amount, just to enjoy it. A little bit of extra juice, but you do not want to become a problem if you can avoid it. The Edmonton Oilers practice today. They're actually going to practice tomorrow. And then they will fly out to Seattle. Remember, Saturday's game, an afternoon game, 2:00 start in Edmonton against the Kraken. It's the only game in 6 days for the Edmonton Oilers. Really, they'll play 2 games in a span of 10 days because they played in Florida on Saturday. Then they had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday they played, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So 2 and 10. It's an opportunity for them to get some practice time in, maybe get a little mental refresh, because they got to be better in a lot of different areas. And let's hear from Stuart Skinner. And Skinner was asked about, the challenges of not letting negativity become, too prevalent right now in that room.
That's the easiest thing to do when things are tough, is pointing the finger. But for our group, we're not in the business of doing that. We're in the business of lifting each other up and trying to carry ourselves out of this thing as a team. Because we've created that culture, we've created that brotherhood in here. It's easy to point the finger. It's human nature. Sometimes you still do it, but you try your best to be aware of it and catch yourself. And I'm certainly not doing that. I need to be better for this group.
Dude, when you say that you want to play better, a lot of the guys are talking about their own individual game. Is there one or two things you look and say, okay, here's where I got to start to get the foundation back to where I want it?
Yeah, I think it's just coming back and realizing that you got to stick to the boring routine. You got to keep on going, keep on working on the same things that I've been working on since the start of the season, because I think those things have been helping me. It's just kind of waiting for the results to turn around.
That process is maybe a test of your patience, unlike anything else.
Yeah, for sure. Patience, annoyance, frustration. There can be a lot of negative feelings that creep in, but that's the hard part about it. I think that's for anybody in any sort of job in general. Sometimes it's hard waking up the next morning and going in and being like, well, I got to do the same thing all over again. But if you do that day after day after day, you keep on chipping at that rock, something's going to happen eventually.
A lot of skaters sometimes, if they're in the funk, it's like, I'm just going to be physical. I'm just going to run. I'm going to hit some guy, and maybe I'm mad and I can lose some frustration. You can't really do that as a goalie, right? Like, it's not like you can hit the puck harder. Yeah, I guess so. But because sometimes there is frustration. How do you let it out?
For me, I've learned just deep breaths. I've learned in my career that frustration has only made things worse for me. And that's all personal. Sometimes it helps people, sometimes it doesn't. I think for me, whenever I do, I can tend to overdo things, try too hard, kind of get more in my head. So for me, I think just taking a deep breath and relaxing. I think that's something that I've learned. Frustration is, I don't want to say a pointless emotion, but it can hurt me individually if I do that.
You always get a thoughtful answer from Skinner. You know what? Trust me, I've covered for a long time, and Skinner, he's a guy right now that it gets a lot of blame for a lot of people. Even when it's not the only one to blame, it's easy for some people to blame the goalie. Yeah, goalie lost us the cup. Well, not really. In 2024, he actually in the Stanley Cup final, he had a better save percentage than Sergei Bobrovsky, lower goals against average than Bobrovsky. But he let in the second goal, Gregor. Yeah, okay. How many other goals did his teammates score? So you were saying they should have won if Skinner had a shutout. So because he didn't get a shutout, they didn't win. basically what you're saying. They scored 1 goal. So can Skinner be more consistent? Of course. But can't you say that about a lot of other players on the team? And this year right now, my goodness, give me the list of guys who have been consistent. I think the list is pretty short. Connor Clattenburg. He's only played 2 games, being pretty damn consistent. Had no issues with his game. Overall, I think for what you'd expect, how he's playing, Ty Emberson's actually been okay. I've had no problem with Ty Emberson's game. You know, I don't have high expectations. He's not playing, you know, super tough minutes, nor should he be, to be honest. But overall, I kind of look up and down and say, okay, well, here's Ty Emberson, right? Like he's on pace to score more than he ever has before. But you look at his on ice metrics, they're not awful, right? Considering, and I'm saying like considering for the team, right? He's outscored the opposition, he's outshot the opposition when he's on the ice. Like for a number 6 defenseman, there's not much more you want, to be honest. So I'd put him in that category of where I say, hey, he's not a guy who I think has been a real big problem. But there's not many guys in the Oilers who have outscored their opponents at all. Like 5-on-5, there's some guys that are getting crushed. Like Andrew Mangiapane has been outscored 26-10. 26-10. Brett Kulak's 24-11. And Emberson, who's his most common partner? Brett Kulak. So yeah, like there's some guys. We go down the list, lots of other guys. Wallman's got to be better. Ekholm's got to be better. Nurse has to be better. Like I would argue at 5-on-5, Leon Draisaitl has to be better. His puck management hasn't been good enough. Like Connor McDavid. Like his production 5-on-5 by his standards is well below where you'd expect it to be. Like he's got 14 points in 25 games, right? That puts him on pace for like 46, the fewest he had in a 56 game season. He had 50. He was a point a game guy, just 5-on-5, right? Connor McDavid in his career has never had a negative goal for percentage. But he is right now. He's -4. And if you look at it, his expected goals again. So even if you want to say, oh yeah, he doesn't have good goaltending, look at his expected goals against. He's on pace to be in like the 60s. That hasn't happened since 2019 for him. So there's lots of guys, and mainly when I say, okay, goalie's got to be better, sure. But does the goalie have to be as much better as lots of the other guys? When you look at what your expectations are to their talent level? Like Jack Rosovich, I'd put in the category, hey, this guy's being way better than advertised. He's already got 10 goals, for goodness sakes. And that would be a brutal injury for the Oilers. Didn't skate today. Knobloch just said, you know what? He's questionable for Saturday. Couldn't get a timeline yet on how long he might be out. But God, if Jack Rosovich is out for an extended period of time, it is just brutal timing. I'd argue he's been their most consistent forward since coming in the lineup. It's hard to argue. How can you argue? So they take this practice time. I think and we'll hear from Zach Hyman coming up. Actually, let's hear from Zach Hyman right now, Con Man. I caught up with Zach and just talked about the process of trying to get back on track. And again, where you as an individual focus on yourself, but you got to try to, keep out the negative thoughts.
I think experience helps. We're a pretty experienced group with regards to going through adversity and not playing up to your own expectations and your own standards. And unfortunately, we've gone through stretches like this in the past since I've been here. And I think that you can lean on that experience to know that if things don't feel good, it doesn't mean they're going to stay like that. You can work through that and you can work out of it. And like you said, right side is we're right there. Regardless of how we feel we've started, we're right there. If we find our game and play the way that we think we can play, then we're more than capable of being in a great spot.
It's a unique balance in a team game where you can worry about your own game and you got to get better at your own game. But then at the same time, you have to play within the team structure to have success. To a man, it seems every player's like, we got to play better. How does the individual improvement automatically help team improvement?
Well, I think you can just go to kind of the basics of what makes you a successful player, right? So everybody has has found success in this room. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in this room. So, I mean, for me, it's work ethic, competitiveness, skating. So if all else isn't going well, I know that I can kind of fall back on that. And I think that everybody in this room has things that they fall back on. So kind of going back just to what you're good at and little things like defense, some sort of defense battles, competitiveness, skating. Those are things that are not team oriented or system based. Those are things that you can control, and you can have the best systems in the world if you're not battling, competing, winning those battles, skating, moving. Doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, that's kind of what you need. And I'm not saying we haven't done that, but you can do a better job of that. You can do a better job of winning battles. You can do a better job of getting up the ice. You can do a better job of supporting your team. So there are things you can do better individually, and then as a result, everything's easier.
I want to talk about how your personality and just how you play, number one, on the ice, but off the ice, very upbeat, positive guy.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to challenge guys. That was something they needed, right? Do you need to be even more vocal at a time when the team is struggling to pump guys up in a way?
Yeah, I think you want to be vocal, but you want to be authentic. Like, I think the last thing you want is somebody coming in with raw, fake juice, right? It's got to be authentic. It's got to make sense at the right time. When you're down 8-3 in that game, it's going to be quiet just because there'll be outbursts or whatever, but you're not excited about an 8-3 game. You can show passion, you can show emotion, but I think the ability to stay positive, to be vocal when it's needed is important, and knowing when to speak. I think we have a lot of guys in this room that are vocal and that are leaders and that have been in this situation and have experience going through adversity and have come out stronger for it. So we've got a great group, and very confident in our ability to bounce back.
And hey, you know what? You got to believe. That's a key part of it, but then you got to go out and do it. And we'll see what happens. As I've said, if I could handpick one team on paper that you'd look and say, for a team that is struggling, giving up too many high danger chances, after 2 days of practice, which is a team you'd want to face? I'd pick Seattle, because they don't create a lot of high danger chances. Now, they work hard, but Seattle doesn't give up a lot. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league, but they're 27th, 28th in offense. So I'd rather face one of those teams to start. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but you're just like, okay, now I get that there's the other side. Imagine if you give up a lot of scoring chances to a team that doesn't create a lot of scoring chances. Now that's a real problem for sure. But I'm going off of the odds. Like, I don't want to face Colorado in the first game. God, they'd probably wipe the floor with you again. Right. So you kind of want to have baby steps. And if you look at Edmonton's schedule, after having a difficult schedule, their schedule starting on Saturday is a lot more favorable. Right? You got Seattle. Then you've got Minnesota after you have a 2-day break. Then you have Seattle again. Then you got Winnipeg. Winnipeg's playing. That'll be their 6th game in 9 days, and it'll be the second half of a back-to-back. And no Connor Halley. By the way, the Jets are 0-3 since Hellebuck's been out. Then Edmonton has Buffalo. Then they got Detroit. Right? Then they're on the road. You got 2 teams struggling, Edmonton and Toronto. Like, they don't have, outside of Minnesota, who's red hot, none of those next 7 games are against a real dominant team. So maybe it's a chance for the Oilers. Maybe you could go 4-2-1, maybe, right? And gain some semblance of confidence in that streak. Obviously, I know they get the whole game at a time. I get it. I'm talking from a bigger picture outlook that's something that they could potentially do. We shall see. Quick break. We'll get to the comments, Sports 1440, when we return. Some interesting stats to get to, and also some stuff to look forward to this weekend on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Also, do you know, 15 NHL games tomorrow, none of them involving the Oilers. There was 15 yesterday, the Oilers didn't play. 15 tomorrow, the Oilers don't play. Neither does Seattle. Both of them will play on Saturday. You're listening to The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hold up. Are you pulling my beard? Booster Juice has 2 new booster balls for the holidays this year.
That's right, Santa. The Eggnog Booster Ball and Caramel Pecan Pie Booster Ball are 2 new flavors to put some extra jingle in your step. So are you a pie guy, Santa, or a nog guy?
Both!
Good call. That's extra jolly. Happy holidays from your friends at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Stories are told to make a point, and GS Construction takes them very seriously. We're not talking about fairy tales. GS Construction looks at the story old pipes tell us, a tale of time and pressure and endurance. So when those old pipes are ready to end their story, GS Construction starts a new chapter by repairing or rebuilding, or in some cases, renewing the underground infrastructure that supports our modern lives, making sure every community's story continues on safely and reliably. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
The basketball show turns 10, and we welcome a new generation of basketball talk. Hoop City with Paul Sir airs Saturday mornings from 10 till noon on Sports 1440. From grassroots to NBA to the Olympics, we've got you covered.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Hey everybody, it's Chief Principe and Jason Stradler. Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one hell of a trip. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise, July 2026. Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Book now and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours/Edmonton.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and people often ask me, hey, Rick, do people actually buy RVs from No Bull in the fall?
Fair question, Rick. Why would you want to buy an RV just when it's time to put it away in storage for the winter?
And I have the answer, Bob, because the RVs at No Bull are used, and that means every RV on our lot is a one-of-a-kind. So when you're looking for a used RV, you can be really picky.
One-of-a-kind means you don't have to compromise on what you're looking for.
That's right, Bob. But it also means when you find the right one, you grab it up before someone else does. Sometimes that's in the fall, but No Bull makes it easy because when you buy your used RV now, we include winterization and winter storage for free. We even get it prepared for spring camping at no charge to you. All you need to do is be ready for the great outdoors come next spring. When you think of it that way, the fall might be the best time to get your RV.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and you can play score and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
4:27. We continue on Thursday afternoon. Dark day in the NHL. There are no games tonight. Of course, 3 games in the National Football League. The Lions losing at home to the Packers. Currently, the Cowboys are leading the Chiefs 17-14. And then the late games has the Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. And then, of course, the regular Sunday games followed by the Monday nighter with the Patriots and the Giants. Will there be another Tyree magical catch in that game? Probably not. Dave Tyree, still one of the greatest catches ever. Unless you're a Patriots fan, you probably hate that catch. But most other people think it was a pretty darn good catch for sure. 833-401-1440 is where you can text us in our email inbox. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time now to get to our NFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. And talking all things NFL on and off the field, we are joined by Andy McNamara from the Sick Podcast. Andy, how you doing?
Doing good, gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Happy U.S. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's a big day. Now, before we get to the NFL, I know you're a huge Browns guy, and it's obviously been a tough season for the Browns, but in the midst of it, it's looking like it's going to be a record-breaking season for their superstar defensive end. What do you now? Really, like because the season didn't start like this. It's really been the last 6 weeks where he's just gone nuclear.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as I've gotten older, when I recognize greatness, players either at the end of their career, like a Tom Brady and Ovechkin, something to pick your sport, or you're seeing a great moment. I really try to drink it in, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say we are witnessing quite possibly the greatest single defensive season by a player in NFL history. Like we are talking about Myles Garrett, who has the most sacks of anyone through 11 games in NFL history, the most sacks over a 3-game period in NFL history, the most sacks of any player under the age of 30 in NFL history, and he is set to shatter. He is 5 sacks away to shatter Michael Strahan's 16-game. And this is the key point because TJ Watt tied it, the 22.5 sacks in 7 teams. The real record, the non-asterisk record, is the 16 games, and he needs 5 sacks to do that, and he is ready to rock and roll, man. I'm telling you, Myles Garrett, you just watch him, and it's special. The bend. And he was being triple teamed against the Raiders, and he still got 3 sacks. Unbelievable.
Now, you mentioned the asterisk. Is it not an asterisk with Brett Favre going down? Ask Mark Gastineau. He'll say it might be.
It could be. It's a little, that will always be out there, but this is a chance for Myles Garrett to wipe the slate with that and say, look, and what is so infuriating as a Browns fan is that if you crunch the numbers, and the Browns were just an average offense, even a bit below, an average NFL offense averages 24 points a game. In today's league, that's not a lot. That's not an outrageous ask. If they would be averaging that, they'd be in first place in the division with that defense. So it's super frustrating, but good for Myles.
Obviously, the offense has been a problem. What did you make of Sanders last week?
Oh, boy. Well, first of all, if you're a fan of a struggling fan base, anytime there's somebody who just seems to give you a bit of hope, right? Talks like, hey, we're the cool ones. Where we got you grasp on Johnny Manziel with the stupid money sign. Baker Mayfield woke up feeling dangerous, and Shedeur Sanders going into the game. And they said, what do you want to tell Browns fans and all that? Says, I'm what you've been waiting for. And guys, I just stopped and I just looked. I'm like, damn it, I'm in. Let's go. I'm all in. I love Shedeur Sanders. I want all his shirts. Let's go. I'm in. Raise the risk, do the watch thing, whatever he does. I thought he played within himself. Most notably, improvement. What killed him at Colorado and in his first appearance, those stupid running backwards for 18 yards and getting sacked. He moved horizontally, only sacked once, and it was stepping up in the pocket. Big difference. Now, you're going to be playing a defense that is better, still not great, in the San Francisco 49ers. By the way, fun fact, Myles Garrett, as an individual, has 5 more sacks than the entire San Francisco 49ers defense.
That is a wild stat, man.
Isn't that wild?
Now, how are the 49ers on preventing sacks?
Well, I know they're not great at preventing turnovers because we saw Brock Purdy with 3 interceptions go last week, right? So, look, to be honest, I think with Myles Garrett, he is such a special talent. I don't think it matters, because the thing is, here's the difference with this Browns defensive line this year. Whereas before, now, like, and for example, you can look at Max Crosby with the Raiders. Max Crosby, heck of a talent, has no help. Miles Garrett has help, because if you double, triple team him, then you got rookie Mason Graham and Malik Collins in the center. And what they're doing now is that middle. They are pushing forward, so the quarterback can't step up and escape. He's trapped, and that allows Miles to get around the edge. So I think what we're going to try to see is the MO of a Kyle Shanahan offense under Brock Purdy. Get the ball out as quickly as possible to Christian McCaffrey. If he does that, then that's going to negate the sack. So the problem for the Browns is going to be, how do you jam up McCaffrey long enough for Miles or whoever to go get Purdy?
Andy, looking at some of the other games this weekend, the Buffalo Bills, you know what? Now they did go get Brandon Cooks, and everybody in Buffalo's like, okay, finally we got a threat, and we'll see. Maybe he helps them or not. Pittsburgh's got a lot of questions, surrounding Aaron Rodgers. They had a big lead on Baltimore. There was no Lamar Jackson for a while, and they did not take advantage of it at all. And now suddenly they're tied again. They'll probably be behind them sooner. But you look at that Bills on the road in Pittsburgh. How concerned should Bills fans be? Or are you just like, they'll be fine?
I think ultimately they'll be fine-ish, because, like, who the heck saw the Patriots doing what they're doing in 1 year? Like, I still, even if you had this blip, I still thought that the Bills would win the division and that the Patriots would be better, maybe beyond looking into a wild card, kind of in the hunt type of deal. Maybe get one, maybe don't. But it just goes to show, if you get the right coach quarterback combo, how quickly things can turn. And then you're not talking about a bad offensive line, because the quarterback's great and the game plan's strong. And so if you're the Bills, it's like, all right, you better smarten up, because you've lost a couple very questionable games this year. You bring in Cooks, fine. And, we talk fantasy football quite a bit, right? And it's like, guys, don't play Brandon Cooks on your fantasy team. Okay. He is either one of going to be those guys. He gets like 2 touchdowns and 80 yards 1 week and does nothing forever. He's such a journeyman at this point. I don't know what to expect. I guess it's a chance maybe to stretch the field, but this is a Buffalo team. Like, you better get it together, like, real quick. You're 7-4, right? And you're playing for a position for seeding. You want people to go into Buffalo. So how is this going to be if the Patriots, after just what's so frustrating, like a couple years off of Brady, and now you're back to being good? Like, a wild card's a whole different animal than winning the division.
Oh God, yes, 100%. Now the Chiefs last week, and they needed to win, they got it. But if they lose today against the Cowboys, and Jacksonville wins, and Buffalo wins, well, now they're in Houston, maybe with that injury we just heard of Daniel Jones, that makes that Houston-Indianapolis game maybe the game of the weekend now all of a sudden, and maybe it was the game before, because like you talk about offense in Cleveland. Imagine if Houston's offense did anything, because their defense is pretty damn good too.
Oh, absolutely. Houston has been very underwhelming, maybe is the right word. Like, I expected more. And CJ Stroud, heck of a rookie season, took a regression, that's fine. But they just haven't really been able to get on track, right? And so now it's the time of year, okay, can you get back on track? And all of a sudden, what has become a very surprisingly competitive AFC South, right? Like, that's kind of if we look at the NFC South and the AFC South are usually the two kind of walkover divisions. And it's like, all right, well, someone's got to win it, I guess. But for that division, it's up for grabs. And, if Daniel Jones's injury is serious, Jags could back way into it. The Texans aren't out of it, right? Like, it's interesting. So I'm with you. I think this is it's a make or break game. You talk about for the Chiefs, but also for the Texans.
Yeah, 100%. Andy McNamara joins us. Andy, looking at fantasy, because it's such a week of, there's either some bad teams against bad teams or some good teams that have good matchups against some good. Like, I look at the Colts and I'm like, Jonathan Taylor, like as dominant as he was, it's like, man, he had a real tough week last week. He might have another tough one this week against that Houston defense.
Well, yeah, and that Houston defense is tough, and especially if you don't have Daniel Jones, right? Because then what's everybody going to do? They're going to make sure, all right, hey, we're going to stack the box. We're going to make sure, load it up, and make it so that Jonathan Taylor can't beat us, and you're going to have to throw to beat us. And if that's the case, that's going to be troubling for the Colts. And this is the time of year, guys, right? It's like, all right, you had the teams up to the hot start. You can look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as another example. Right now, Baker's banged up too. And so it's like, all right, you started hot, and now it's like, did you peak too soon? Is it you're up like I'm looking here, the Colts. Oh boy, am I reading this correctly? Because Anthony Richardson's on IR. Riley Leonard. Oh my, yeah. If it's Riley Leonard, who's oh boy, yeah, this is that's going to be super ugly. He was terrible. Now he can run. He's a terrible actual quarterback. Terrible actual quarterback out of Notre Dame, rookie 6th round pick. Pitcher like Taysom Hill-ish. So I think he's going to be running like crazy, but you can just stack the box on him if Jones can't go.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard. Good luck.
Yeah, that Jones that injury kind of just seemed to come out of nowhere. But man,
yes, I'm very concerned because I have him as a starter in one of my leagues, and I didn't see anything this morning, and I'm looking now, and I'm starting to sweat a little bit here.
Yeah, no, it changes everything really for Indianapolis. They had such an unreal start, and now they have that tough loss to the Chiefs. If they lose to Houston, suddenly Houston is 1 game back of them in that division.
Mm-hmm. Right? Well, yeah, and can they get that offense to a competent, serviceable level, right, to complement the defense? If you can, and like you said, sort of a similar story to the Browns, where if you can get that offense popping a bit, that division is still very much up for grabs. You still have, C.J. Stroud, heck of a talent. He's back. And if you can get them on track, the running game underwhelming. You got Woody Marks and my old guy, Nick Chubb. Everything is just kind of bland in that offense, but very quietly. They've won 3 in a row, right? Can you do it against the Colts? You do that, all of a sudden we're having a different conversation.
Yeah. Andy McNamara joins us. Andy, what do you make of the Chiefs this season?
Boy, the Chiefs are, at first, with their struggles, and last week, it was almost a case that I'm sure, you guys are the same. It's like, all right, there's no way they're losing that game. Even when they were down, I thought, they're winning this game. I don't know how, but they're not losing that game. This is a team that is in the hunt conversation. Like, are you kidding me? The Chiefs? This is territory we are not used to at all. And so if you're Kansas City, it's like, okay, is it one of those where you can do it, like the good teams with the Eagles, I think could fall into this too. Buffalo could fall into this, where it's like, all right, guys, maybe a bit disinterested, get us to the playoffs, and then we'll turn on. The problem is the Chiefs might not get to the playoffs. And that would be an absolute shocker. You came back to beat the Colts, but now you're taking on the Cowboys. As we are live right now, they are down by 3. Mm-hmm. Then you got the Texans we just talked about, the Chargers. Gimme win against the Titans, but at that point, are you even in the race? That's a real thing. And I don't know. It just seems like they are a bit, they're lost. Rashee Rice had a touchdown early in the game. Travis Kelce is, he's just about toast. You've got the pieces to a point, but it just seems a little too hodgepodge. And it'll be interesting if they don't win this game today. It's got to be pure panic mode. You are third in the AFC West for the Kansas City Chiefs. Never thought I'd see it.
Are you a believer in the Broncos?
Oh, I believe in Sean Payton. I think you certainly cannot discount 9-2. That's you got, no matter what you think, you got to give respect to that. What can they do in the playoffs with a young Bo Nix, another year under there? Maybe a few maybes. I think the wide receiver group is underwhelming. Cortland Sutton, certainly for fantasy purposes, has been underwhelming. Troy Franklin has done a nice job, and the defense is holding them in. The running game, okay, without J.K. Dobbins, still takes a hit. So I think they are in a great position to win this division because the Chargers have been sliding. You talk about a team that needs to win big time. How about the LA Chargers missing their offensive line and really getting dinged up there? But I think Denver's in the driver's seat, and that is another surprise. Less of a surprise than the Patriots, I think, being in first place, but not far behind.
Well, Andy, always good to catch up with you, buddy. I appreciate it. Enjoy the Browns because, hey, man, we'll have to get you on because it is something to watch. Like, I know it's been a tough slog offensively for them, but you are watching one of the greatest. Myles Garrett, what he's done for the Browns is definitely worth watching.
It's special, and Shedeur Sanders hopefully can keep it going. I will say this for your listeners who are looking for a quick Christmas gift: video games. Okay, I am the play-by-play voice of the new Axis Football 26, AXIS football video game. So the play-by-play, like Madden, it's me, except in Axis Football. And it's fully customizable. Such a fun game. It's on PlayStation, Xbox, PC right now, coming out for Nintendo Switch and mobile. So it's like under $30. It's a great buy. Axis Football 26. I got, look, Edmonton has a team in there too. I throw in a couple Easter egg little things for each team. So, check it out.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy. Have a good one, buddy.
Thanks, bud. Talk to you later.
There you go. That is Andy McNamara from the Sick Podcast. And Cons, if you look at the Browns and what he said, if they're just average offense, because their defense is so good, just be average. And it just illustrates they've been bad for so long. Just develop a quarterback, right? They had one and they let him go in Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he's even just going into fantasy purposes, you want to start the Browns so they do so many good things, but that offense can just put them in bad positions as well, where no defense is going to get the stop. 10 sacks in the game, obviously you're going to roll with the Browns defense. But I will say, Gregor, and I we'll have to talk to Andy maybe later. I kind of like the draft that they had, and the quarterback players, that obviously stole the show with Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, people scratching their heads. But Quinshon Judkins looks like an absolute stud. The touchdown pass that Shedeur had was a screen to Dylan Sampson, running back out of Tennessee. You know how fast he was going? He hit the hole and he was absolutely gone. You got Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green, who I think has a really bright future at tight end. So they've got some really nice pieces at the skill positions for this offense. Probably need to add a receiver or two in the offseason, and never hurts to build up that line. Quarterback's going to be the big concern, but I kind of like what the Browns did this past draft, even though the headlines were all about the quarterbacks.
833-401-1440. Quick break. We'll return. We got 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts. And play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off, and with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
The basketball show turns 10, and we welcome a new generation of basketball talk. Hoop City with Paul Sir airs Saturday mornings from 10 till noon on Sports 1440. From grassroots to NBA to the Olympics, we've got you covered.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and if you're serious about selling your used RV, then I'm serious about getting you the money you want. You're not the only one who wants to spend the winter in selling mode rather than storage mode, and we're happy to help.
People come to No Bull RV 12 months of the year, right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. A used RV is one of a kind, which means when the one you're looking for comes along, customers quickly pounce on it. So if you've outgrown your RV or you're looking to upsize, downsize, or just turn it into cash, come see us at No Bull RV.
You have to be serious about selling, though, right, Rick?
Better believe it, Bob. This is for people who truly want their RV gone. If we're going to store your RV for free all winter, it has to be priced to sell. And that's why customers come to No Bull 12 months of the year. Because you never know when the perfect used RV is going to arrive. And if it's here, it won't last long.
And that's No Bull.
nobullrv.ca.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$4.49. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta. PlayAlberta.ca. And remember that, hey, all the proceeds stay there. So, you know what? Maybe that Yellowhead. Dare to Dream. Freeway by 2044. Oh, God. I'm never going to forget that article, ever. Yeah, it'll be a freeway in 2044. And they were excited. Like, that was a big accomplishment, that it would take 22 years to do that. I think we might need higher standards, right? Just saying. Just saying. Ooh, the Cowboys. Is that a touchdown, Con Man? You had both feet down?
Might have got the left foot down twice. I don't think his right foot came down, and I don't think...
No, you're right. Now, if you put the left foot down twice, does that count?
I'm on board for it counting. Great catch.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah.
He does even maintain possession to the ground as well. He does do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. It's under review. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Black Friday, of course, is tomorrow, but at The Brick, no, you got this sales on right now at The Brick and thebrick.com. Up to 60% off leather sofa, love seat, or chair. Also, you can get up to 40% off mattresses. Stop in right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, this Saturday, Oilers Kraken at 2 o'clock start time. So pregame coverage at 1 here on Sports 1440. Where would you rank that time when it comes to your favorite NHL start time?
Yeah, I don't mind the afternoon, but if I have to pick, I'm going to say 5 o'clock Saturday. That's my favorite start.
Yeah, I kind of like this one. Like, the younger me would have, maybe have a couple of drinks, go for dinner after the game, and you still have all your night ahead of you. I don't mind it. I think this would be kind of high up there for me. I don't even mind that 11 a.m. start when it's out on the East Coast. On the weekend, I can get behind that as well.
2 o'clock, I just find it's right in the middle of the day, kind of screws up. That's why I like 5, right? I like 5 o'clock for if you have kids, they can watch the game. They go to bed. Game's over, court 8. They go to bed. If you're parents, you still can have your night by yourself. If you're in that age where you like socialize, get with your friends, well, it's perfect little primer. It's loads of fun. So that's why 5 for me is always my favorite.
Question number 2, 15 games on the NHL scheduled tomorrow. The Oilers not in action. Of the games, what will be one that you'll be watching?
Well, you know what the good news is, we're on air tomorrow, so we'll have lots of opportunities. Right now, well, it's got to be the Avs and the Wild. The Avs are rolling, the Wild are rolling. You got goaltenders having shutouts all over the place. So what's going to happen there? That would be probably the number one game. And also, it's not a rivalry yet, but it's still kind of there. It's just been festering for a while. The Ducks haven't been competitive for a while, but they are now. So a little Ducks King action would be the other one that I'd be watching.
Yeah, I like those picks. Maybe Jets Canes. Obviously, the injury to Hellebuck's not great, but the Ehlers revenge game, not quite as amped as other.
Well, he was in Winnipeg already, right?
Oh.
And this one's in Carolina. But I'll say that about the Jets are 0-3 without Hellebuck.
Yeah.
And I said it they were 5 games above 500. They were 12-7. I said they could just go 500, right? Because he's going to miss probably 15 to 20 games based on that timeline. So let's say they went 10-10. Well, they come out of it and they're 22-17, right? It's not great, but it's fine, right? You're 44 points in 39 games at that point. You'd be okay. But now they're 0-3, and their schedule is actually pretty tough. They got a boatload of tough games coming up. As I mentioned, Edmonton faces them when it's their 6th game in 9 nights, and it's the second half of back-to-back. And that Winnipeg, they play Friday night at home against Buffalo, and they fly into Edmonton for the Saturday game. That is that's a game I look way ahead. That's a game the Oilers have to win because fatigue will be a factor for the Jets.
No touchdown, Gregor. So the Chiefs will stop them. Will be a field goal, I think. I also like Rangers Bruins. Anytime you get the original 6, I think there's a little something special there. Question number 3 for you. I know you got your bet at playalberta.ca with the Ravens covering and Zay Flowers on the over in receiving yards. But is there any other bet in tonight's game you'd be interested in at playalberta.ca?
Just the NFL game?
Just the NFL,
yeah. Well, I'm intrigued by Joe Burrow, right? What is Joe Burrow going to do in his first game back, Connor Halley? So I might pick a Joe Burrow. I think they're going to throw the ball a lot. So I'm going to say over 24.5 completions.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a chance they're going to need to keep up with all the points their defense allows. I'll take a Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. Has his guy back. T. Higgins not going to play with that concussion. So I think number 1 in black and orange will be a big target for Burrow tonight. Question number 4 for you. Black Friday tomorrow. We're going to have some sales. I know they get going earlier and earlier every year. Are you someone who takes advantage of the Black Friday sales?
Never once. No. I let other people do it. I'm not a big shopper. You know that. I don't. I can honestly say I've never done it. But I know lots of people who have, and good on them. Right on. You know what? This time, where if you can save some cake, go do it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't like to go out and shop. I'd probably be more like you in that sense. But I don't mind checking out online. And then I usually find that I don't really need something. It's just really on sale, and I kind of want to make that purchase. I think it was Shaq who said, I like to spend money. I don't like to waste money. And I kind of, I go with that one. So I try not to waste my money, but there are some things you just got to get after on Black Friday. Final question for you today is Bill Nye, the science guy's 70th birthday. So in honor of him, did you have a favorite educational TV show growing up?
Would Sesame Street qualify?
I think so.
I learned how to count. Always knew the different word of the day, alphabet letter of the day. Talked about different words. So, yeah, I got to go with Sesame Street.
Good pick.
I used to call it Street when I was a kid because I couldn't pronounce Sesame.
Man, people probably knew what you meant. I would say for me, I always liked the Magic School Bus. I mean, I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of that one.
No, I think that was a little after my
research
time.
Says it comes out in 94. But yeah. Magic School Bus
wasn't educational for me. Well, it might have been, but I wasn't watching it.
Did you ever watch Bill Nye?
No, not really. No.
Kind of made science cool. Had a great
I can see why.
song.
I've seen parts of his show now, right? Like clips and stuff, and I'm like, okay, because it's true. I think lots of kids are intrigued by. Well, first of all, you get you mix some of the chemistry class I loved because you got to learn how to do it, but you would get to mix some things together, and all of a sudden you got, oh my God, it's going to blow and everything like that. Who didn't like that? I always thought it was kind of interesting, right? Then obviously there's biology and they're, dissecting animals at times like that. So I physics was the only science course that I couldn't do it, man. It was not, I was never going to go into that, alley. So I took physics 10 and that was it. But biology and chemistry I quite like. So I could see science has a lot of real cool things when you think about it. A lot of really cool inventions, but just lots of different ways to kind of pique your interest. So I could see how Bill Nye, the science guy for kids, would loved it.
Oh yeah, especially now it's probably different. They used to roll the TV in. You got a chance to watch a couple episodes of Bill Nye.
Oh, roll the TV, and that's a younger generation. What do you mean roll the TV in? Right? we're probably aging ourselves here,
yeah.
but many people know, man, when you'd roll in the TV, that's when you knew it was a big deal. That was a big deal.
It's the best.
That is classic.
They probably don't have that
Roll
excitement
the
anymore.
TV in. Well, no, because now you can watch it on your phone. Like I honestly think at times we miss the simplicity of things. Right? Like now you can watch the game on your phone, right? Like you can go anywhere you want. Like you can listen to our show anywhere, which is awesome. But sometimes like the convenience, I think lowers our appreciation of certain things. Because you just feel like, well, I can get it any time. Like it's not that special. When mom or dad would wheel the TV into the kitchen, you were just like, oh my God, this is unreal. Like I'd have to think to my son, like, what would be something that would be equivalent for my son today where he'd be like, oh, wow, now we don't watch TV at the dinner table. So I guess we just turn it on, but it's right there. Like we have one in our kitchen. We just don't watch it during dinner. So I'm trying to think like what would be something today's kids that could be like that equivalent excitement where you just feel like, okay, we're just not used to it. This is awesome. I have to think about that.
I feel like we had a lot, like going to rent a movie like Blockbuster on a Friday night. That was...
Yeah, now it's just you go downstairs, right? You got Netflix,
yeah,
or, even Shaw Demand or Plex or whatever you're using. Like you can, it's a lot easier. Like, people used to have to wait in line to go to the movie theater. Now you buy your seats in advance. There's no stress, but there's also no excitement. Like I remember going to a new movie and lining up, man. There was just something cool about it. You're just like, this is worth it. Are we going to get in? Like, and now there was also a few days where it's the devastation of you wait in line. And then you got there like, sorry, sold out. What? Then you had to come back the next day.
You're buying tickets for concerts or sporting events?
Yeah. Yeah, I never waited in line for a sporting event. That was a little bit before my time. But, well, that's not true. My buddies did wait in line once for the playoff tickets for us. So I'm trying to think. Hey, guys, we bring our mattresses in the living room for family movie night. The kids love it. Brandon. Oh, yeah. Well, my son, not anymore, but for years, he thought having a sleepover with his mattress in mom and dad's room, on his mattress on the floor, that was a big deal for him. So, yeah, that's true. Because then we'd watch one of his movies and then he'd have a sleepover, or kind of looked at it as a sleepover. So he liked it. So, yeah, I could see how kids would like that. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, you got to do something that's outside the norm. And it's exciting. Just like as adults, when you get something outside the norm. Think about it in relationships. You know what I'm talking about. It's good. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We'll say hi to Mike and the boys. You can save thousands this weekend on new and pre-owned inventory. Great selection. The people, NorthgateGM.com.
1440 update.
Thanksgiving down so we've got 3 games in the NFL today. Right now, Chiefs driving. They trail the Cowboys 20-14 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Earlier today was the Packers over the Lions 31-24. Later tonight, you got Bengals and Ravens from Baltimore. That gets going at 6:20. Some good news for the New York Giants. His quarterback, Jackson Dart, has cleared concussion protocol, and he is in line to play against the Patriots on Monday night. And it looks like Aaron Rodgers could be good to go after he returned to practice after suffering a wrist injury. Steelers taking on the Bills on Sunday. Christina Black upset second-ranked Carrie Anderson 6-3 on Thursday in the women's semifinal at the Canadian Curling Trials. The 21st-ranked Black will meet the world number 1 Rachel Homan in a best-of-3 final starting tomorrow. College football tonight. You've got 8-3 Memphis hosting 8-2 Navy. That one gets going at 5:30. And on the hard court, just wrapping up, BYU leading Miami 70-60. Earlier on, you had Michigan State knocking off North Carolina at 74-58. And an upset, number 10 Florida falls to TCU 84-80. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll talk some Vancouver Canucks with Jeff Patterson and look at the Blue Jays offseason with Thomas Hall from Blue Jays Nation. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right. So Santa called up his pals at Legacy Heating. And ho, 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 golly gee, 1 year, no payments, interest-free. And the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Sports 1440 is proud to support the Camrose Kinsman Radio Auction. Tune in Friday from 6 p.m. to midnight, live from the Bailey Theater on our sister station, New Country 98.1. All proceeds go to the Kinsman Club of Camrose to serve the community's greatest needs. For more, visit sports1440.ca.
We want orange. Give us the orange. We want orange. Bring back the orange.
You got it, Canada. Booster Juice orange smoothies are back by popular demand. The original, the marathon, and orangesicle smoothies are back and bursting with tangy zest of oranges. They're Canadian favorites. Orange, you glad they're back? Only for a limited time. So squeeze the day, smoothie lovers, and head to a Booster Juice near you now. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
The new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel. She drives me crazy. Multiple CCMA and Juno Award winner, platinum-selling recording artist, and top 10 hitmaker. Celebrate the new year in Alberta, country style. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silenticeCenter.com/events.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring graders, excavators, forklifts, loaders, man lifts, skid steers, plus commercial trailers including 3 unused 2023 Timmins 55-ton triaxle lowboys. Info at maauctions.com.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auctions are next Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large selection of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth AA football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We're after 5 o'clock. You made it through another work day. Hope you're doing all right. Make sure you're on your way home. Turn your lights on. Make sure your rear lights are on. Relax, kick back, enjoy. You don't have to rush. It's no order game, which you probably wouldn't rush home for right now anyway. The rate they're playing, you'd Serenity now, and we'll see. We'll update you on the Chiefs and the Cowboys. Cowboys leading 2014, but the Chiefs are now 3rd and goal to start the 4th quarter. In I would argue for both of these teams, you want to make the playoffs. This is a must-win game. I think the loser of this game is going to have a real hard time. It's not impossible, just a real hard time to make it to the playoffs. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, casino, sports, lottery, instance, live dealer, and more, all under one roof. PlayAlberta.ca. And also, our favorite game, although we've never won, the Daily Grand, where you can win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. That's $7.3 million. Oh, how sweet. I'd love it. $1,000 a day. So good. Put you in a good mood every day. Ooh, beep. What's that? $1,000. Thank you very much. Away we go. That would be good. Let's get to the Speckless Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist. Whether it's simple things as running water or the roadway that gets you home, they make it happen. GS Construction. And on 4th and goal, Chiefs gamble, and it works. Rasheed Rice, touchdown, and game is tied pending an extra point. And we got a lot to talk about with our next guest from Canucks Army and Rinkwide in Vancouver. Jeff Patterson joins us once again. Jeffrey, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Doing all right.
The Vancouver Canucks, it's their veterans are available allegedly. I don't know what that means really. Like, it's not a surprise overall when I look at where they are in the standings, but the thing when I look at it, like if I take a step back and I say, okay, maybe they're going to trade some guys who are penning UFAs and they're going to go and not make the playoffs. This is the final year before Quinn Hughes can negotiate his next contract. And I think everybody's like, hey, he's their best player. There's no debate. He's their best player. And I think if Vancouver is competitive, I'd have no reason to think he wouldn't stay there. Most guys stay on their team when they're competitive. Are you surprised that the Canucks have said, okay, you know what, we're going to trade away guys? Because it seems, and maybe I'm wrong, but it's like the first step to them moving Quinn Hughes.
Right, and we don't know what information they've got that we don't have, but Quinn has played it really close to the vest here and has said he's not going to make any decision until the summer. I have trouble believing that. I think that he sees his future in front of him. He's 26 now, and we know the connection to New Jersey and his brothers, obviously, but I think more than anything, this guy wants to win, and he just hasn't done enough of it. Nowhere close to it here in Vancouver. He has given the Canucks everything. He owes the Vancouver Canucks nothing, and they have failed him to this point. Now, that's not to say, as you said, hockey guys quite often like to be where they are. And so, the one thing the Canucks have going for them that no other team can right now, they can put $18 million a year over 8 years or something in that neighborhood in front of him.
Right.
And he's going to get paid wherever he goes, right? I mean, star player, he'll get his money. That's not the issue here. But right now, the Canucks are the only team, and under the current CBA, they can still go 8 years with him and can do that up until next September. So we'll see where it all goes. But ultimately, they need to know. At some point this season, they need to know. If Quinn has one foot out the door already and intends to leave at some point, he owes it to the organization to at least give them that much. Because the last thing that could happen, obviously, is that he plays himself to free agency and walks. They can't let that happen. And so it's going to be fascinating to see where this all goes. But you're right. Like, here you've got this star player who, again, has played through an awful lot, a ton of distractions, not a ton of talent around him, and plays at a remarkably high level. That's why I say he's given the Vancouver Canucks everything. He's got the Norris Trophy to show for it from a couple of years ago. All sorts of franchise records. And the downfall here is that they haven't done enough to support him and surround him. And so ultimately, if he decides that, nope, he's put in his years of service here, he wants to go and explore winning elsewhere with or without his brothers, I can understand that. But again, I think at some point the Canucks are coming in with a Godfather offer that at least will stop him in his tracks and make him think long and hard here. And we'll see where that goes. Is it about the money? Is it about the winning? Can he do the winning here in Vancouver? Those are all massive questions. And you're right. If they start to strip it away around him, what does that say to Quinn Hughes about the direction of this hockey club?
Jeff, you know what? With Demko coming back and Hughes, and, they're hoping Pedersen would have a better season. Then, they brought in some Jake DeBrusk, other guys, their defense. They had pieces to, on paper, I'd look and say, hey, I thought Vancouver could compete for a wild card spot, but they haven't. Why? What's gone wrong?
Well, they made foolish bets on both Thatcher Demko and Philip Hedl. With their injury histories, it was really naive of this management group to think that they were both going to stay healthy all season long, and neither one of them got to the 20-game mark. Hedl was out after 6 games, and I don't know if he's coming back with his long history of concussions. He's got a life in front of him. He apparently is back skating on his own, but it's one thing to do that. You saw what happened when Tom Wilson got a piece of him. I think we all figured that day would happen. It was just, it happened sooner than anybody wanted it to happen for Philip Hedl. And with Thatcher Demko, who's going to turn 30 here in a couple of weeks' time, and unfortunately, he's just got a body that has betrayed him. When he's healthy, you see the body of work and you see what's possible. And he started to show some signs of getting back into that form early on. But it's just, he's got a body that doesn't allow him to stand up to the rigors of playing one of the most difficult positions in professional sports. And it's unfortunate. You can't hold it against him. He doesn't want to be injured, but it's just, he's been through a lot. And so at this point, to think that you can bank on him being there for you when you need him the most. And that's been the issue with Thatcher Demko. Couldn't get to the 20-game mark, and he's been out for 3 weeks now, and apparently is going to rejoin the club here. They're out on a California and Colorado road trip, but I don't know if that means he's back in 3 games or 5 games or whenever, but I think we're all at a point in time now with Thatcher Demko. Unfortunately, it's not about can he get healthy, it's can he stay healthy. And so he'll get back in the lineup at some point, but it just sort of feels inevitable that there will be more of these interruptions in his availability for the Vancouver Canucks. And the downside there is, Gregor, that, they committed to him in the offseason, gave him a 3-year extension at $8.5 million. Hasn't even kicked in yet. And you just wonder, where's he going to be next year? Where will he be a couple years down the line? And so I don't know. It seemed kind of silly at the time. I don't know why they didn't wait 25 or 30 games into this season to see what Thatcher Demko looked like and where his health was before they committed to him for, not a long time, a 3-year extension, but still it's 3 years and $8.5 million there that they're on the hook for. So through it all, why are they where they are, tied for 29th in the standings? It's because they can't defend. And this was a team that was supposed to be built on the strength of one of the better goaltending tandems in the NHL with Lankinen and Demko, and then a defense core that was fairly deep with Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronek and Marcus Pettersson, whom they traded first-round pick to get from Pittsburgh last year. And Tyler Myers isn't a perfect player by any stretch, but he's a veteran and he's been through the battles, and his play had actually been on the uptick for the last couple of seasons. And through it all, then they've got a couple of youngsters on the back end, but the young guys aren't the problem here. It has just been a collective effort of Adam Foote wanting them to play a system that maybe worked for him as a player when he was one of the best defenders in the National Hockey League. That was a while ago. Whatever the case, he's got an idea of the way he wants his team to play, and they just haven't been able to grasp it, and they have been so permissive across the board. All the underlying stats, shot metrics and expected goals and everything, they're either 30th or 32nd, somewhere in there. They got company with the Oilers and a couple of other teams in that regard, but just give up way too much on way too many nights. And, somehow last night in Anaheim, they gave up 4. They were able to score 5 and they won the hockey game, but that's the exception to the rule with this group. Offense really hasn't been a problem. It's just they've got the worst penalty killing in the National Hockey League, and that's been a huge part of the problem as well. And it's a difficult league to win in when you're giving up 3.5 to 4 goals per night.
Yeah, well, their goals against, the Oilers know a little bit about that. The Oilers have been struggling mightily defensively, so they're pretty much in the same category as the Canucks, oddly enough, in that area of goals against. Elias Pettersson, makes big money. How has he played overall? Because if you just look at the stats, goals, points, assists, people are going to say this is not an $11.6 million player. I'm sorry, he's not worth it. Has he played better than the goals, assists, points suggest?
He has. And a lot of Canuck fans would agree with that, but at the same time say, as you point out, it's not enough. It's still not enough. But again, it comes back to this flawed roster construction. He's their only legitimate center. And so he is being asked to take on the heavy matchups every night out and be expected to win those matchups and produce offense. They've got nothing behind him to the point that they went out and they traded for Lucas Reichel, who was an outcast, couldn't crack the Chicago Blackhawks lineup. They bring him in and they plug him in as a centerman, even though he's really played very little center in the National Hockey League. He's got 1 point in the 13 games that he's played. He's been a healthy scratch the last 3 games. And part of the reason he's a healthy scratch is because they went and they got David Kampf off the scrap heap, who couldn't make the Maple Leafs out of training camp. Not only have they brought David Kampf in, he's their second line center right now. And so some of the idea of bringing Kampf in was, well, at least he can handle and shoulder some of the defensive load. He can take some of the defensive zone faceoffs off Elias Pettersson, and that'll free up Pettersson to start more on the offensive end of the ice. And I get all of that. David Kampf is a career 25 points, I think is his high, or 27 points. And that was a bunch of years ago. But this is where they are. And again, they started into the season with this gaping hole down the middle. There were all sorts of questions. And then Philip Hedl leaves after 6 games. And so it's been a lot to ask of Elias Pettersson to sort of be the guy. He sees he takes on the toughs, but he also, it's pretty easy to defend because other teams can just lock on their best players and their best defensive pairs against him. They don't have to fear an awful lot elsewhere in this Vancouver Canuck lineup. So I think Pettersson, the effort's been there. He's been engaged among NHL leaders in faceoffs taken and shots blocked among forwards in the National Hockey League. I don't think effort at all. Last year, we wondered some nights. I do think he did some soul searching in the offseason. I haven't had an issue with the competitiveness, the sort of digging in, the investment on his part, but they've made a massive investment in him and still not seeing the return that they want in terms of being a play driver and a difference maker on a lot of nights here, but it's not for lack of trying.
Kiefer Sherwood has, his time in Vancouver has been excellent. He's a hitting machine. This year he's scoring quite a few goals. What do you think now the goal totals are obviously a little bit high early on. What do you think is a realistic return for Kiefer Sherwood? And on a playoff team, where do you think he slots in?
I've said this on a couple of shows this week. If I'm a team that's headed to the playoffs, I would have a serious interest in Kiefer Sherwood. I just think this guy, as low maintenance and as much of a pro, he would fit in any locker room seamlessly. Just a good dude, first of all, but way more skill and talent than I think he was ever given credit for. If you go back and look at his statistics from the American Hockey League, he was a big scorer in the AHL. And then he got to the NHL and was sort of pigeonholed as a checker and a thorn in the side and all that kind of stuff. And he played that role well in other stops. And the Canucks faced him in Nashville in the playoffs and hated playing against him. And that was one of the reasons they went out and signed him. He had 19 goals last year. And I think people thought, okay, outlier season, just everything's gone right for him. Plus, he led the NHL in hits. Well, he's backed it up. He's still among the NHL league leaders in hits. He's got a dozen goals here at U.S. Thanksgiving. So the 19 last year, not an outlier. I mean, heated shooting percentage, sure, but he's got a sneaky hard shot, skates like the wind, and again, is fearless in terms of getting in on the forecheck and hounding pucks and all those types of things. I think he'd be a terrific ad for any playoff-bound team at $1.5 million. He's in for a huge raise. He's a pending UFA, and he earned his raise.
Yeah.
I think the Canucks should try to drive a market here and get a couple of teams interested. And a late first round pick wouldn't shock me if there was a team that was going to the playoffs and knew that it would be in the sort of bottom third of the first round. I don't think that would be overspending to get a guy like Kiefer Sherwood. And if you make the move early enough, you get him for half the regular season and then, whatever you do in the playoffs. So I think that's the hope on the part of the Vancouver Canucks, but they're selling him as a guy that leads their team in scoring. Other teams are going to say, well, we see him as a good third line, a guy that can boost our third line and give our middle six a little bit of a boost there. So that's all part of negotiation, right? Is the Canucks will try and sell you that they've got a leading goal scorer to sell. He's not going to be the leading goal scorer on a really good hockey club, but I just got nothing but good things to say about this guy, and I hope it all works out for him, and I do hope that he cashes in. Really, for the first time in his National Hockey League career, he has earned it with his performance here over a year and a half in Vancouver.
Yeah, well, I think there's lots of teams. He's a little bit of an outlier in the sense of you're that physical consistently. And 19 goals is nothing to shake your head at, especially when it's 19 goals. It's a lot of 5-on-5 goals. He's not, he's not a guy who is, pounding 15 out of 19 on the power play or anything like that.
No, but on this team, he has seen a little bit of power play time. But I should also add, he's one of their primary penalty killers. Like, there's utility there. Like, he's a good player. He was a late bloomer. He's come into his own, but he could help any team in the National Hockey League without a doubt.
Oh God, yeah. I am. His cap hit makes him incredibly valuable at the trade deadline, because if Vancouver retains it, like, he's a $750,000 cap hit. Like, that's nothing. And that's because of the new rule. That's what he is in the playoffs. So it's, it's a really good deal for a lot of teams. And I'm with you, man. Like, second line player, third line player, he just makes your team better. And I think there'd be lots of teams that are interested, because there's just not many players who play the game like him right now in the NHL.
Yeah. And, other years, I would say he's absolutely the kind of guy that the Vancouver Canucks should want to lock up long-term, but he's going to be 30 here, and they've already committed long-term to Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, Connor Garland, Jake DeBrusk, and that hasn't yielded anything for this group. I mean, you can't just keep spinning your wheels with the same players, and this idea of, okay, add another guy who's going to be in his mid to late 30s by the time his contract, there's just not enough room here in Vancouver. And so I think where they are in their competitive arc here, they have to recognize that. And again, it's no fault of Kiefer Sherwood. I do hope that he gets a long-term deal, and I think he will somewhere, but it can't be in Vancouver because they've got too many guys that they've committed to, and it hasn't led them in the right direction.
Jeff, as always, buddy, great stuff. We appreciate it. We will see what happens, who's going to get moved, because the Canucks do have a lot of pieces that other teams are going to like, which makes it frustrating to think that with all those pieces, they should be doing better than they are.
Yeah, there's been a lot of frustration through the first 24 games with where they sit in the standings, but they've been dreadful on home ice. That's the other part in all of this is you go and win 5-4 in Anaheim last night. It was a fun hockey game. Do that in front of the home fans for a change, but they have 3 wins in 11 home games and don't score many goals. So, there's been a lot of frustration here, and it is going to be fascinating to see ultimately how this season plays out on and off the ice with the comments of Jim Rutherford earlier this week about being open for business.
Yeah. Awesome stuff, Jeff. Thanks, man.
You bet.
That's Jeff Patterson from Rink Wide and Canucks Army. Quick break. We'll return, and man, big decision, big signing. We'll discuss it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off. And with every mattress purchase, you're entered for the chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
If you're looking for nonstop sports coverage, tune into Sports 1440, Edmonton's only sports radio station.
24/7 coverage comes at you with expert commentary, in-depth analysis,
and so much more.
We are Sports 1440.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
Get ready, Edmonton. Glow Christmas Festival returns to light up the Edmonton Expo Center from December 4th to 31st with dazzling activities for the entire family. Wander the glowing trails, meet Santa in his sleigh, and shop from over 30 local artisans and vendors with handcrafted gifts and holiday treasures perfect for everyone on your list. Get your tickets and learn more about what's on this season by visiting the calendar of events at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, they go back and forth, the Cowboys and the Chiefs, as Javonte Williams makes it 28-21 for the Cowboys. 10 minutes to go in the game. Lots of offense so far today on Turkey Thursday, and we'll see if the Ravens and the Bengals can continue that with the final game of the evening coming up a little bit later on. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our inbox. And time now to go to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. Exciting Saints action tomorrow and Saturday night. You want some great BCHL action at the Thompson Arena? Check it out at sgsaints.ca. And it was a huge breaking story late yesterday in our show where it was announced that the Toronto Blue Jays have signed starting pitcher Dylan Cease to a 7-year, $210 million contract. Cease's last 5 years, this guy's a model of consistency. He's had 32, 33, 33, 32, 32 starts, and he's had over 210 strikeouts every year. That is really consistent. And to break it all down, Thomas Hall from Blue Jays Nation joined us. Thomas, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Jason. We got the Blue Jays spending money. We got a triple header of football today. The off season is good.
When you look at this move, let's start just with Dylan Cease and what he like. If I just look at his last 5 years, I'm like, man, like this guy, he's reliable. He strikes out batters. You know what? I know his ERA last year wasn't the best, and some people said it was a little bit had to do with the defense behind him at times. And, that's the one thing he'll have behind him is a better defense in Toronto. But he's also, he's coming back to the American League after being with the White Sox. How much does that play into it, do you think?
Yeah, it's got to be a bit of a factor, too. I mean, he has some familiarity with the American League, of course, and there's always a bit of an adjustment period when you have a pitcher crossing leagues like this. So you hope that, that previous history is going to help Cease a little bit. Obviously, he's going to have to adjust to the smaller confines that he'll face in the American League East, which will certainly be an adjustment that he and the Blue Jays will have to make. But, any bit of history that a pitcher can have when you're making a change like this, has to help in some measure.
Well, I would think so. Yeah. Like you look, the Jays' top 4 starters obviously lock in with Trey Savage and, of course, Gosman. And then you throw in now Cease. And I think some people were surprised maybe that Bieber took a 1-year deal, but he obviously stays on. Jose Barrios, what is he going to start? Is he going to be the number 5? Is he going to be here? Are they going to trade him? What do you think?
Yeah, I think right now everything's on the table. As things currently stand, he's the 5th starter on this team, which, certainly speaks volumes of how deep and talented this Blue Jays rotation is. Anytime you have a guy like Jose Barrios as your 5th starter, you probably have a really good rotation. And so I think the Blue Jays would be very content if that's how things shape out come spring training. But, the struggles were real with Jose Barrios. And, it sounds like he pitched a lot through the second half, injured, battling some shoulder issues, some elbow issues. So, who knows how big of a factor that had on him. But I think the Blue Jays are going to be open in terms of, if teams come calling about Jose Barrios, just because, they have so much flexibility now with their rotation, with their payroll situation as well, that if they're able to do a contract for contract type of swap, then, that's probably something they'll have to consider with somebody like Barrios. I mean, clearly the Blue Jays have lots of money to spend, but could they put to use better resources for their number 5 spot? Possibly, but that's something that they'll have to keep in mind throughout these coming months.
What do you think the Cease signing? How, if any, does it impact Bo Bichette?
Yeah, I don't think it really has any sort of impact on Bo. The Blue Jays were always going to have a separate section of their payroll set aside for somebody like Bo, regardless of how the rest of the offseason played out. So even though they're committing a very lucrative contract to somebody like Dylan Cease, and they have Vladdy's long-term contract on the books and Alejandro Kirk's extension as well, they still have the freedom and the flexibility to bring back somebody like Bo, or even potentially go out and pursue somebody like Kyle Tucker if that proves to be a more beneficial route for this Blue Jays team. But I don't think the Dylan Cease signing precludes them for any future big possible signings on the position player side.
Okay, where do you come out on Bichette? Do you think he stays? Does he go? And if he stays, what's his deal look like?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's been a big question mark all year, right? Whether or not Bichette was going to ultimately end up in free agency and possibly come back to the Blue Jays. I still think the most likely outcome here is Bichette returning to Toronto. If anything, the Dylan Cease move shows that they're very much still committed to putting all their chips in the middle of the table and making another run at the World Series. And Bichette, for many years, has talked about his commitment and desire to want to stay in Toronto and continue to try and contend for a World Series with his close friend Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And now that the Blue Jays have added another big weapon to their team, you would think that would be a little bit even more incentive for somebody like Bo to, want to come back and run things back with this team. And in terms of his contract, that's one of the more fascinating questions that needs to be answered this winter, because, a lot of it will revolve around what his position will look like long term. I know a lot of teams view him more as a second baseman rather than a shortstop, and the Blue Jays in particular, they have Andrés Jiménez, who filled in extremely well over at short down the stretch of the 2025 season and through the postseason. So I think that's probably going to be part of the conversation with Bo too this winter, is how willing would he be moving to second base, even if it's a, part-time thing, just to give the Blue Jays even more defensive versatility on their roster. But I could very easily see Bo Bichette commanding, somewhere around $150 to $200 million over a long-term deal. But, from the Blue Jays perspective, now that they have Dylan Cease in the fold, they can really let that market play out and not have to be too aggressive in their pursuit either of Bichette or another marquee position player addition.
What about other guys on the team? Who else do you see that for sure isn't coming back?
So I think now with the Cease signing happening, you can probably assume that Chris Bassett isn't coming back next season, unfortunately, which, from a clubhouse standpoint, he will be a big loss for this team. And we saw how much he meant to this clubhouse over the last several months. And I think somebody like Max Scherzer, the doors never officially closed until those guys signed, but the Blue Jays rotation is certainly looking pretty full right now. And so I don't necessarily see there being any room for either of those two. In terms of their other pending free agents, guys like Ty France, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Sir Anthony Dominguez. You never say never, but I would think the Blue Jays try and aim higher in terms of replacing those guys.
Yeah. Okay. What about position guys, though? You look at, like their infield. Obviously, Bo Bichette signing impacts it. But if he does come back, is he coming back as a second baseman?
Yeah. That's still really interesting. Like I'm not exactly sure how the Blue Jays would plan that out. I would think like in a perfect world, you have Bo and Andrés Giménez bouncing back and forth between second and shortstop. And, it would just give them a lot of flexibility to do something like that. But I think long-term second base is probably the better spot for Bo. He's coming off the worst defensive performance of his career at shortstop. And so, whether it's in 2026 or in a few years down the road, I think second base is probably Bichette's long-term position, but it'll just be fascinating to see how quickly, or if at all, the Blue Jays try and make that transition.
And what about Anthony Santander? What do you think you can expect from him next year?
Yeah, I think, if he's healthy, right, and he's not supposed to need surgery to address that shoulder issue that plagued him all year long, but if he's able to stay healthy, I expect him to be more like the guy who hit 44 home runs and drove in 102 with the Baltimore Orioles in 2024. And I think, even if he doesn't replicate that production, getting a guy who can be a reliable power threat in the middle of the Blue Jays order would be a huge addition in itself, even before you get to possibly having Bo back in the fold or filling that need somewhere else. I think Anthony Santander will be somebody who rotates through both corner outfield spots, probably, mixes in the DH spot a little bit too, probably, allowing Springer to go out and play the field a little bit too next season. So, he will be one of the more interesting guys to keep an eye on once spring training rolls around. But if they can get his bat back to where it was a few seasons ago, it will really transform the outlook of this lineup next season.
And where do you see Barger playing?
So I think a lot of that has to do with what happens with Bichette, because if Bo leaves and second base is wide open, then you could possibly have Ernie Clement move over to second base. You put Addison Barger at third base, and then that would free you up to go out and acquire an impact outfielder. But if Bo does return next season and he fills one of those infield spots, then I would assume that Barger largely earns a lot of his reps in the outfield, whether that's, exclusively in right field, or the Blue Jays try and see if he can handle left a little bit. But, he'll be, used sparingly probably at third base too against, I would be surprised if the Blue Jays didn't try and get him more at bats against left-handed pitching next season. And if that does end up being the case, they could put him at third base and have Ernie Clement moved to second base or shortstop, which would put Jimenez on the bench against left-handed pitching. So there's a lot of different ways the Blue Jays could utilize Barger next season, but I do think he'll continue to be a big part of this team moving forward.
Yeah, he should be. I think he's got a lot of potential, man. I'd like him in the outfield with that arm. He's cannon for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thomas, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
There you go.
Catch you again soon.
You bet. That's Thomas Hall from Blue Jays Nation. We'll take a quick break, come back and wrap things up. And is the dynasty ending? We'll tell you about it next. Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you? Who, me? No way. I swear. Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vinny and Donnan have to offer. Visit vinnyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Picture this. You're sleeping and you're awake. But it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast. Fast forward, you're there. But what's this? You can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise-style sauce. A happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee. Still just $1 plus tax every day. And see. Get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Prices exclude delivery.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
It's the Nissan Black Friday event, a full month of excitement packed with awesome vehicles and exclusive offers. Right now, finance the Nissan Kicks for 0% for 24 months. Plus, get $1,000 Nissan bonus and enjoy an epic ride wherever you go. This Black Friday, we've got great offers and limited inventory. Get yours today before they're all gone. These offers won't last. Go see your local Nissan dealer or Nissan.ca for more details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products are not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at Cantork.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$5:45. We get set to wrap up a busy Thursday. Of course, tomorrow, 15 games in the National Hockey League. Oilers aren't playing in any of them, but they will be practicing again, which is a rarity for them. And they're going to hope that a few practice days will allow them to knock off some of the rust. Matthias Ekholm talked about how they have like a mental fog, like a sheet over their eyes right now a little bit. And we'll see how that does. The Chiefs making it a game. Hollywood Brown pulls them within 4, pending a point after, but there's only 3:26 to go. Chiefs lose this game, Con. It's going to be really tough for them to get into the playoffs. For sure, not impossible, just difficult, especially if the Chargers and the Jaguars take care of business against Tennessee and Raiders. Like, my God, they should. Like, if there was ever 2 games where you think they should win, those are the games.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, Tennessee Titans not very good. Cam Ward, I like him. but he's not quite there yet. And then the Vegas Raiders, they're just they're in a tough situation. They've made changes with their coaching staff. Chargers' offensive line does scare me, but you got to find a way to minimize what Max Crosby does, and if you can do that, you probably find a way to win at home. So, yeah, Chiefs, they need to stop here now, and that was a heck of a catch from Hollywood Brown, and I think that just made the over hit, Gregor. So that's always nice to see as well.
Yeah. Hey, the over. We had it as one of our plays today. Hopefully, you listened. There you go. It's fun. We do have the Ravens 7.5. Take the points, and Zay Flowers, a little parlay. Zay Flowers over 68 receiving yards tonight. We will see. Zay Flowers, he's done it a few times, so I'm betting on the Bengals defense being porous. Connor Halley for sure. What do you think of like the Jays? Connor Halley, Dylan Cease obviously gives him another legit arm. There's no question. Like you look at their first 4 starters, like that's really good. Do you think Barrios is back in Toronto?
I kind of lean that way. I mean, I guess it depends. What does he want at this point in his career? Does he want to go somewhere where he's the guy or tries to be the guy? Then that's probably not going to be Toronto. But if you want to win baseball games and pitch potentially on the biggest stage, and this is the opportunity to do so, and go out there and prove it. And we've seen him do it, right? We saw him do it in the playoffs. Unfortunately, he was pulled a little bit too early in a lot of our opinions back against the Mariners a couple of years ago. But I think for him, a chance to win, a chance to play on a really good team, have a solid defensive group behind him, I think that's Toronto. That's the place to be. And I would assume he, fan of the room, fan of the guys, seemed like a fun place to play. So I think you'll see him in the rotation this year.
What do you let's get to Zach Hyman now as we go to the Oil Report, brought to you by Go Auto. Cars, tires, great deals on both. They got it. GoAuto.ca. And Zach Hyman just talking about this team and their experience and how he really believes that negativity, being down on yourself, is not going to creep into the room.
I think experience helps. We're a pretty experienced group with regards to going through adversity and not playing up to your own expectations and your own standards. And unfortunately, we've gone through stretches like this in the past since I've been here. And I think that you can lean on that experience to know that if things don't feel good, it doesn't mean they're going to stay like that. You can work through that and you can work out of it. And like you said, bright side is we're right there. Regardless of how we feel we've started, we're right there. If we find our game and play the way that we think we can play, then we're more than capable of being in a great spot.
It's a unique balance in a team game where you can worry about your own game and you got to get better at your own game, but then at the same time, you have to play within the team structure to have success. To a man, it seems every player is like, we got to play better. How does the individual improvement automatically help team improvement?
Well, I think you can just go to kind of the basics of what makes you a successful player, right? So everybody has found success in this room. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in this room. So, for me, it's work ethic, competitiveness, skating. So if all else isn't going well, I know that I can kind of fall back on that. And I think that everybody in this room has things that they fall back on. So kind of going back just to what you're good at and little things like defense, some sort of defense battles, competitiveness, skating. Those are things that are not team-oriented or system-based. Those are things that you can control, and you can have the best systems in the world if you're not battling, competing, winning those battles, skating, moving, doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, that's kind of what you need. And I'm not saying we haven't done that, but you can do a better job of that. You can do a better job of winning battles. You can do a better job of getting up the ice. You can do a better job of supporting your team. So there are things you can do better individually. And then as a result, everything's easier.
Connor talked about how your personality and just how you play, number one, on the ice, but off the ice, very upbeat, positive guy.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to challenge guys. That was something they needed, right? Do you need to be even more vocal at a time when the team is struggling to pump guys up in a way?
Yeah, I think you want to be vocal, but you want to be authentic. Like I think the last thing you want is somebody coming in with rah, fake juice, right? It's got to be authentic. It's got to make sense at the right time. When you're down 8-3 in that game, it's going to be quiet just because there'll be outbursts or whatever. But you're not excited about an 8-3 game. You can show passion, you can show emotion, but I think the ability to stay positive, to be vocal when it's needed is important, and knowing when to speak. I think we have a lot of guys in this room that are vocal and that are leaders and that have been in this situation and have experience going through adversity and have come out stronger for it. So we've got a great group, and very confident in our ability to bounce back.
Well, we will we'll see if they can. Starts at some point, it's got to start, right? Like you thought after the Colorado game, and remember they kind of needed a miracle comeback against Columbus, their next game to win. There's no guarantee that they're going to come out just because you say, hey, we can bounce back. You have to do it. Talk is one thing, and you have to believe in yourself. Totally true. But actions now become the main thing to watch for the Edmonton Oilers. Can they do it? That is going to be that's going to be the key, right? That's going to be the key, and we'll see where it goes from here. Connor Halley, do you believe the Oilers? There's two reasons why I think they can turn it around. A, their schedule is way easier, both in travel and competition here over the next few weeks. That's the biggest factor for them. Now, whether or not that they will live up to it remains to be seen, but the schedule makes their chances of doing it easier.
You'd be foolish to doubt them. We've seen them do this the last couple of years here. Eventually, they find their groove. Hey, maybe it's the West Edmonton Mall autograph session. That's always a turning point. They got to go back and look when that occurs in the season, but got to get going sooner than later. Can't keep pushing it off.
We've had a few people tell me that they always lose the game before their signature signing. I have to check that one out, too, see if it's true or not. But
once in the last 2 years, they definitely did.
Okay.
It was a storyline.
All right. Well, there you go. On behalf of Connor Halley, I'm Jason Gregor. Have yourselves a wonderful Thursday. For any of our American listeners who are listening today, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy it. Enjoy the football game tonight, some basketball. And we got a lot of hockey and more talk tomorrow on the show. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Thanksgiving down south. We've got 3 games in the NFL right now. Cowboys, huge third down. If they can convert, they can wrap up a win over the Chiefs. Currently leading 31-28. Earlier today, Jordan Love threw 4 touchdown passes for the Packers as they knocked off the Lions 31-24. And later tonight, you got the Bengals and Ravens. Joe Burrow back in the lineup for Cincinnati. Dallas Cowboys do convert on the third down back to George Pickens. In the college levels, you got Memphis leading Navy 3-0. That one in the first quarter. College basketball earlier today. Number 9 BYU knocked off Miami 72-62. Number 10 Florida falling to TCU 84-80 tonight. You've got number 4 Duke up against number 22 Arkansas. In the curling world, Team Black upset Team Anderson 6-3 earlier today in the semifinal of the Canadian Curling Trials. With that, they will now advance to take on the number 1 ranked Rachel Homan in a best-of-3 starting tomorrow. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it is Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carey here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.